meeting between the police department and City Hall, only for those messages to go unanswered. A spokesman for Mayor Spencer says Milberg and Jenkins Gray did speak on June 9th, but Budget Director Paul Payne was still working on his assessment. The board will meet tonight at 4 and open the mic to public comment.
It is 6:07, and we'll be back with a look at traffic and weather. Stay with us here on Total Information AM.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
A divorce is more than just legal paperwork. It's a life change. The stress, the uncertainty, the tough conversations. Cordell & Cordell understands what it's really like to face the unknown. The law firm of Cordell & Cordell has been representing clients during these transitions for over 35 years, helping you focus on what matters most. If you or someone you know is facing a divorce or family law matter, visit CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. Joseph Cordell, Principal Partner.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
It's 6:10. Frank Ladd seems pretty quiet out there. Overhead Door Company's St. Louis Traffic Center.
It really does, Tom. Smooth sailing coming in from St. Charles County, passing Forestel through Wentzville on eastbound Highway 70. Similar story. Make your way through St. Charles County proper, headed towards the Blanchette Bridge. Eastbound on Highway 64, delay-free Lake St. Louis, all the way up through Highway 94 and the Boone Bridge. Northbound on Highway 270, not seeing any issues now. Between the 55 merge, Highway 44 looks good. Northbound on 55 between Arnold and the 270 interchange through South County, through South City, all the way to downtown St. Louis. Into downtown, not seeing any problems now. Crossing the Poplar Street Bridge, westbound on 5564, delay-free as well, crossing the Musial Veterans Bridge on westbound Highway 70. Our next traffic update at 6:20, Frank Ladd at the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Partly sunny today, becoming windy, hot, and humid with a high of 93. A couple of severe thunderstorms very late this afternoon and early tonight can produce hail, damaging wind gusts, flooding downpours, and even a tornado. Partly cloudy later tonight, though 69. For tomorrow, cooler and less humid with intervals of clouds and sun, along with a shower or thunderstorm in parts of the area, the high 79. For Friday, pleasant with sunshine and a few clouds, high 83. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Right now, we've got sunshine downtown. It is 64 degrees.
The news continues at 6:11.
The big thing that we try to encourage citizens to do is to remove all your valuables from your car and lock your cars at night.
St. Louis South County Police Precinct Commander Aaron Roediger on an increase in car break-ins in Melville and Oakville. KMOX had several listeners contact us regarding having catalytic converters cut off their vehicles.
We did have earlier on in the year an incident where we had a couple catalytic converters stolen in the South County area. But we have not had any incidents since then.
You didn't have one a couple of weeks ago?
Yes, ma'am, last month.
So do you think that that's rare, or do you think that there's some nefarious people that are in this metal business still going ahead and taking these?
Well, the individuals are getting rid of them at scrap dealers And usually it's the same individual responsible for most of the catalytic converter thefts, and once they're apprehended, and then the thefts stop.
A man sentenced to life without parole for a murder live streamed on Facebook. 34-year-old Teron Young sentenced yesterday in the killing of 32-year-old Anthony Jefferson, a local MC and musician. Young is accused of planning, live streaming, and shooting Jefferson after an event at a venue in the 4700 block of Martin Luther King Drive in February of 2024. Jefferson later died from his injuries.
So-called teen takeovers are a top concern right now, not just in our region, but across the country. How do you keep your teenager away?
This is Megan Lynch.
What all the research suggests is that if you can maintain a close relationship with your teen, they're less likely to engage in high-risk behavior.
John Pulse is a psychotherapist and clinical social worker who focuses on teens and young adults. While there's no guarantee kids will avoid all risky behavior, Pulse says sharing a meal, a video game, or whatever you can do to form a closer relationship could make them think twice about choices. Pulse does add, the more attention we give to teen takeovers, the more we fuel them.
The state-run and appointed board that oversees the St. Louis Police Department has been very combative with city leaders, says Post-Dispatch columnist Bill McClellan. He tells KMOX's Chris and Amy that he was in favor of the latest state takeover, but has had a change of heart.
The old board that I remember, the old businessmen, they felt like they were managing the police department for the city. And the new board has acted like it feels it's representing the police department against the city.
McClellan says the old board seemed more independent, whereas now it seems to move in lockstep with board attorney Chris Gravel running the show. He admits several lawsuits against the board immediately may have put things on the wrong foot, but thinks the board has reacted too harshly.
High fly ball toward left. At the wall, admire the shot. It's a 4-homer game for Joshua Baez. This one touched the moon, hits Mars, and ricochets back down.
Yes, you heard that right. 4 home runs in one game for Cardinals prospect Joshua Baez. He did that last night for the Memphis Redbirds in a 12-5 victory over the Nashville Sounds. Baez set a Redbirds single-game record with a 4-homer appearance in the series opener, 16th such game in minor league baseball since at least 2005. Baez joins Chandler Redmond and Tyrone Horn as the only Cardinals minor leaguers to accomplish the feat in the last 30 years. So the question is, are the Cardinals going to call him up or what? Well, the issue is there are a lot of outfielders right now. And, for that matter, a lot of players performing who were just called up. Last night, Busch Stadium, Cardinals and Padres, Blaze Jordan.
July 30th last year, line drive, base hit, left center field, 1-0 Cardinals. That ball goes all the way to the wall, and Jordan is standing on second with his first career RBI double.
Here's the number 9 hitter, Nathan Church.
5 home runs, 18 RBIs. Church swings, lines it to right field. That ball is going to get down. Jordan comes around third. Taylor's throw comes to the infield and no chance to make a play, so the throw went to the middle infield to keep Church at first base after driving in Jordan 2-0.
You're not going to send one of those guys down, are you? The Cardinals have a 2-0 lead at that point. It's 2-0 in the fourth. Andre Pallante pitching.
Only 4 teams in baseball with a better ERA among the starters. There's a called strike 3, and Machado is trying to challenge it, but he waited too long. And the home plate umpire said, I'm not doing it. And I think he may have saved himself because that was a strike. And it is strikeout number 3 for Pallante.
Machado's a mess. He's hitting well under 200 right now. The Padres are a mess. They can't score. Cardinals can. Here comes Alec Burleson in the 5th.
There's a swing and a line drive. That's a base hit into center field. And Burleson has extended his hitting streak to 16 with Herrera stopping at second.
That's a longer streak than even Jordan Walker had. And then Lars Nootbaar had a sac fly in the inning to put the Cardinals up 3-1, and they're hanging on after a very good start by Pallante with their bullpen. We know that bullpen's been an issue here lately. How about this, though?
We need him.
The 2-2 pitch, a swing and a miss, and Duran strikes out.
That is Ryan Stanek with the K in the 8th inning. It comes down to Riley O'Brien in the 9th.
Riley O'Brien ahead in the count with the sign out of the stretch. The pitch on the way. Ground ball to the shortstop. Wynn has it. Throws to first. That's a Redbird winner. And the Cardinals have won the series, taking the first 2 games against the Padres. Light it up in downtown St. Louis. Light up the night as the Cardinals hang on. Andre Palante picks up his 8th win, 3-2 over San Diego.
Palante was really good. 7 innings, 2 runs on 4 hits, no walks, and 6 Ks for Ollie Marmol.
Man, the last 2 nights, these guys have understood the assignment and executed extremely well. It allows us to hit the reset button on our pen and be full go. Everybody available tomorrow, which is awesome. So that's huge. Palante did really.
Cardinals play today at 1:15. It'll be Kyle Leahy on the mound. Look out here. Cardinals are the number 1 wild card team in the National League. They're 4.5 out in the NL Central, and they've won the season series with the Padres. Could that come in handy down the road if they end up in a tie with the Padres for a wild card spot? They would earn that tiebreaker. The Cardinals and the Padres this afternoon at 1:15. Lionel Messi with a hat trick for Argentina in Kansas City in a 3-0 win over Algeria, the World Cup. We'll get into that a little bit more at 6:45 on KMOX.
Amendment 4 on the August ballot hides some ugly facts. It would create a new minority veto power, but only for ballot issues that are citizen-led.
I just say no to that.
Amendment 4 permanently ends majority rule for citizen-led ballot issues.
I'm a no on 4.
Politicians put Amendment 4 on the ballot to severely limit citizens' constitutional power.
I say no on 4.
4 is a power grab by politicians. It lets one congressional district veto reforms backed by the majority of voters statewide, giving as few as 5% of voters control over the rest of us.
That's why I say no to 4.
4 would make it nearly impossible to rein in out-of-control politicians.
I say heck no.
4 takes away our constitutional power we've used for over 100 years to pass reforms that politicians wouldn't. Keep majority rule and your power. Just say no to Amendment 4. It's an ugly politician power grab. Paid for by Missourians for Fair Governance.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to Supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At Supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to Supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's Supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Now the news. At 1, the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:21. The sun is shining this morning. It's going to be a hot day. We'll get to the forecast in just a moment. But first, let's check in with Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, drivers are driving into that sun, headed eastbound on Highway 70 now, approaching Wright City. You've got that road construction there slowing you down. Just a hesitation, slow down, approaching Wright City, eastbound on 70. Headed east to there, up towards Wentzville, not bad. Similar story eastbound on Highway 64, coming in from Wentzville, passing Lake St. Louis, all the way through to the Boone Bridge, through Chesterfield Valley. No delays there. Looks good into downtown St. Louis, westbound on 5564. Took a look at those cameras, headed across the Poplar Street Bridge. You're zipping by that camera there at Highway 44. Headed northbound on Highway 55 so far this morning. Delay-free now, starting at Highway 270 up through South County, South City, headed towards downtown St. Louis. This update brought to you by the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis for their 26-point tune-up. It's one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Schedule online at overhead door at stlouis.com. Our next traffic update at 6:30. Frank Letta, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is going to be hot and humid today, Frank, with a chance of severe thunderstorms late this afternoon into early tonight. Let's get that Cardinals game in at 1:15 and then get ourselves under cover. Partly cloudy later tonight, low 69. Tomorrow, intervals of clouds and sun. Cooler, less humid. Shower, thunderstorm in spots. High 79 degrees. Currently, we're looking at 65 downtown at the Arch.
A new Washington University medicine study takes a closer look at an investigational mRNA-based flu vaccine from Moderna that appears to protect against a wide array of influenza strains. KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer found out more when he spoke with one of the study's authors, Washington University immunologist Dr. Hanover Matz.
We wanted to determine if an mRNA-based flu vaccine would offer any advantages over the regular seasonal flu vaccine that people typically get every year.
And what did you find?
We found that an mRNA-based vaccine stimulated a very strong immune response, and it generated antibodies that could block many different types of the flu virus. Every year, it's very difficult for flu vaccines to beat the flu virus because the virus changes a lot, and we always have to update the vaccines. But this mRNA-based vaccine seems to be very good at combating those changes in the virus.
Why is that?
We found that it could stimulate a higher diversity of antibodies, and so those were capable to bind different types of the virus, and then that resulted in better protection when that virus tries to make you sick, and then even potentially it can stop the virus from transmitting to other people if you have the flu.
Dr. Matz, how did you do this study?
We recruited people who received either the mRNA-based vaccine or the conventional inactivated flu vaccine, and then we measured their immune responses by taking different samples and looking at how their immune system was responding to the vaccine.
Did you have kind of like a unique way of looking at this?
Yes. One of the unique things that we can do is we use ultrasound-guided fine needle aspirations of the draining lymph nodes. So when you receive a vaccine, the components of the vaccine are going to go to your lymph nodes, and it's going to teach the immune system how to fight the virus. And so those are very unique samples that we can collect here at Washington University, and that allows us to track how the different antibodies made by your B cells change and how high affinity they get, how well they bind the different types of influenza viruses that you might encounter.
Were you surprised by these findings?
We were not surprised to see that the mRNA vaccine could stimulate a strong immune response. We knew that when we had done prior studies looking at mRNA-based vaccines to COVID-19, but we were surprised that the mRNA-based vaccine was able to generate immunity against so many different types of influenza virus. That's a real advantage compared to the regular flu vaccine.
How far back does this protection go?
We were able to measure antibody responses out to 6 months post-vaccination. Those antibody titers were still higher 6 months later in people that had received the mRNA-based vaccine. So we think that's a real benefit of this type of vaccine.
What are the implications of this study?
One of the implications is that potentially if this mRNA-based vaccine gets approved, when you give it to people, then you would have better odds of dealing with when the virus changes and it escapes the vaccine-mediated immunity. Another potential benefit of an mRNA-based vaccine is that some point in the future, we may not have to administer vaccines yearly to combat the influenza virus, but that's something that will probably take several more years of research to figure out.
So where do things stand now with this mRNA flu vaccine?
Right now, Moderna has conducted the clinical trials to evaluate the safety and the effectiveness of the vaccine. They have submitted that data to the FDA for approval, and the FDA is currently evaluating the vaccine, and they should make a decision on that sometime by August of this year. Moderna is specifically looking to get approval for the vaccine in older individuals because that's a population that we are usually concerned about offering protection for against seasonal influenza viruses.
So what's your main message you want listeners to take away from this interview?
The main message I want listeners to take away is that we learned many things from this study about how mRNA-based vaccines can improve the immune response. So not only does it seem really effective for the influenza virus, but we think some of the things that we learned from this study can be applied to developing vaccines against other viruses and other pathogens. And so this is a really promising platform for improving how we design vaccines and how we deal with diseases.
That is Dr. Hanover Matz, who is an immunologist with Washington University Medicine.
It's now 6:27, and the time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to Supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At Supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to Supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's Supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Santana, Oneness Tour 2026. The power, the energy. Come celebrate your favorite hits from Woodstock to Supernatural and beyond. With very special guest, the Doobie Brothers. This Saturday, Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. On sale now at LiveNation.com. Santana and Doobie Brothers, Oneness Tour 2026.
All access with Ollie Marble on the Gas House Gang.
I show up every day looking forward to what's next for this group. This group fits my personality to a T. I love what we're doing. I love how we're going about it. I love the honest conversations. I love the grit. And there's been certain times where I've caught myself where bases are loaded, our back's up against the wall, and I can't help but smile. I show up every day looking forward to what's next for this group.
Ollie Marble, Tuesdays at noon on KMOX.
It is 6:30, and right now it's 64 degrees. We are Total Information AM, and I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Frank Ladd's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
So far, so good out there on the highways this Wednesday morning, Tom. Into downtown St. Louis, no problems to report crossing the Poplar Street Bridge. That's westbound 5564. Similar story westbound on Highway 70 now. Make your way across the Musial Veterans Bridge. You do have that road work on the Illinois side of the river, westbound on 5564, just west of the Highway 70 merge. So a little bit of a hesitation, slow down through there. That's just starting to pick up the volume in that stretch. Northbound on Highway 270 now between 55 and 44. We are delay free. And we had that pocket of volume eastbound on Highway 70 approaching Wright City. That's all due to road construction there. It's a short stretch of road construction headed east of there between Wright City, Forestdale, Wentzville. Not seeing any delays so far this morning. Our next traffic update at 6:40. Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be a really hot day today. Already the sunshine is out there, and it's going to get up to 93 degrees. It's also going to be pretty windy today. And as we head into late afternoon and early tonight, we are looking at some severe thunderstorms moving through that could cause some flash flooding, hail, damaging winds, maybe even a tornado. The other thing it's going to do is cool things down significantly for tomorrow, when we'll have a high of 79 with clouds and sun and maybe a shower or thunderstorm in spots. Currently, it's 64 degrees downtown.
It's 6:31. There's a new face running the St. Louis County Jail, and one of his first tasks was asking the county council for almost $3 million to cover medical care in the wake of budget cuts. Acting Justice Services Director Tim Ware.
Tonight, I'm here to speak on Bill 72 for the supplemental funding for the medical corrections. After only 2 days, I have already come to an understanding on how important this funding is for us.
The funding was up for final passage, but instead was held. Co-sponsor Shalonda Webb says she's working on the bill, which could come back for a vote at a future meeting.
The purpose of the bill is to fund my correctional medicine staff beyond June 30th. And so during the council budget cuts, they cut the health department a little bit too short.
St. Louis County Health Director Dr. Kanika Cunningham concerned that deep budget cuts to her department will prevent detainees at the County Justice Center from receiving the medical care they need.
What they did last week, they did introduce an amendment in which they located funds to fund it, but then they held it and referred it back to Budget Committee.
Cunningham says the money needed is $2.8 million to fund 23 contracted positions. She adds, it is a necessity as people confined to the jail can have a range of diseases that require care and medication. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute next.
Are moles tearing up your yard? Don't let these lawn invaders turn your beautiful property into a mess. Rottler Pest Solutions offers professional mole control services to protect your lawn from damage. Visit Rottler.com today to schedule your free inspection.
Welcome to Willie's Wings, home of the secret sauce.
I'll take a dozen wings. Oh, by the way, I love that sauce. What's in it?
Can't tell you.
Why not?
It's a secret.
While many financial advisors claim to have the secret sauce, they don't. In fact, if their sauce is so good, why are they keeping it a secret? Steve All of the All Financial Group doesn't keep anything a secret. He knows there's much more to retirement planning than stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. He'll develop a strategy designed specifically for you. It's your own secret sauce for retirement. Call Steve today at 636-230-8824 for your personal portfolio x-ray. Call 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Fine, you want to know what's in the sauce?
Absolutely.
Tablespoon of paprika.
Really?
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
It is 6:34. This is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterey along with Tom Ackerman. We'll check in with Frank Ladd and Joe Lundberg for traffic and weather here in just about 5 minutes. But first, your money report, which is sponsored by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Apple is said to be planning to release AirPods that have cameras late next year as part of the company's biggest wave of new products yet. Apple aims to roll out the device around the same time as a next-generation foldable phone and a fresh iPhone model that will mark the product's 20th anniversary. Investors are looking ahead to the Federal Reserve's policy decision this afternoon for clues to the outlook for interest rates. S&P futures are rising 11 points. Dow futures are little changed. And Rivian is cutting hundreds of jobs as part of a push to reduce costs. The layoffs amount to less than 2% of the company's workforce. The cuts are concentrated in service and customer operations. The move comes about a week after Rivian began customer deliveries of its R2 line of plug-in SUVs, which is a crucial new model intended to give the brand a lower cost offering. This report is sponsored by Vanguard Investor Choice, a proxy voting program for eligible Vanguard Index funds. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please Don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767.
From backyard barbecues to homegrown herbs, the best parts of summer start at Lowe's. Right now, get 3 Ferry Morse 1.3 quart vegetables and herbs for just $12. Plus, get 4 bags of Miracle-Gro 0.75 cubic foot garden soil for only $10. Whether you're planting something new or giving your garden a refresh, now's the time to make the most of your outdoor space. Save more on what you need this summer at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 6/24 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
You just testified under oath you're getting more fiber in your diet, and it was easy? Where is this additional fiber coming from?
Mira Fiber Gummies.
Objection!
It's true. Mira Fiber has 8 grams of fiber to help me get the fiber I need in a day, plus 4 B vitamins for metabolism support. All in one serving.
Overruled.
My gut rests its case.
Oh, that's my line.
Find Mirafiber today at your local retailer from the makers of Miralax. Mirafiber supports metabolism of carbs, fats, and proteins. Serving size is 4 gummies.
Hi, I'm Mark Cantor. The people around here are hardworking people, just like you. And when someone in your family gets hurt in a car wreck, everything can change very fast. That's why having a local lawyer matters. At Cantor Injury Law, we know these towns, these roads, and the people who drive them every day. When you call us, you're calling a local team with boots on the ground, ready to fight for you. You can count on Cantor.
CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Today, the Cards, the Padres.
Emlyn Total Access 1220. First pitch 1:15.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 6:38 on KMOX's Total Information AM. Many lawmakers wondering what the U.S. Memorandum of Understanding with Iran contains. Lawmakers from both parties are demanding formal briefings on the Memorandum of Understanding. Meanwhile, Vice President J.D. Vance says the administration may release the full text ahead of Friday's signing. The terms require the U.S. to lift its naval blockade of Iranian ports, while Iran must reopen the Strait of Hormuz.
The Department of Education announcing yesterday a big step in the Trump administration's efforts to dismantle the Department of Education, moving special ed services and civil rights responsibilities to the Departments of Health and Human Services and the Departments of Justice. ABC reports these special education services go out to about 8 million students under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. That's about $15 billion in grants to students who have special needs. The oversight of civil rights and those protections could also impact millions of students in the country who attend schools.
FBI officials busted what they described as an active plot to target the recent UFC event at the White House. Multiple suspects were arrested. Court documents detail the alleged 2 phases that they planned to carry out the attack. One involved drones that would be equipped with explosives that they'd actually send towards the event itself. And then they'd have snipers positioned who would carry out the second phase of the attack.
Bright sunshine, and maybe later when you're heading home from work today, it might be stormy. We'll get you the forecast details in just a moment. Let's see what the ride-in looks like with Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we have a couple slowdowns out there, and it's all due to road construction. So the first one is into downtown St. Louis. A little more volume now. Westbound Highway 70 approaching the Highway 64 merge. That's all due to the road work on the west side of that intersection there, headed towards the Poplar Street Bridge. You've got a little bit of a slowdown now as well. Westbound on Highway 64 approaching that 70 merge, headed towards the Poplar Street Bridge. It's a brief one. Once you get past it into downtown St. Louis, you are delay-free. The other slowdown is out west, eastbound on Highway 70, approaching Wright City. Just a little quick slowdown due to road construction there. East of Wright City, it's a great run through Forestville and Wentzville. No issues to report passing Lake St. Louis, eastbound on 64, coming in from St. Charles County, headed towards St. Louis County and the Boone Bridge. We are sponsored by Community America Credit Union. Our next traffic update at 6:50. Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Community America Credit Union helps you and me, shortstop Mason win. So win big. Cash back, free checking, win. No service fees or minimum balance, win. So yeah, you really can win with Community America. So can I. That's a win-win.
All right, AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Cards Padres today at 1:15. We know it's going to be hot. The question is, can we avoid the rain?
Yes, I think so. I think that those thunderstorms will not get here till at the earliest 5, more likely 6 or 7. It'd be interesting to see the effect of the wind and the heat and humidity. Those balls should be flying through the air today because of the air mass and those winds. Winds could be gusting upwards of 40 miles an hour today. We have a wind advisory from 1 p.m. through 8 p.m., so keep that in mind. Ahead of it, partly sunny, windy, hot, humid, 93. As I mentioned, late afternoon and early tonight, a round or two of severe thunderstorms will come through the area. And every risk is on the table. Hail, damaging winds, tornadoes, even flash flooding. And then later tonight, partly cloudy. The winds settle down. Everything calms down to those 69. Cooler, less humid tomorrow with clouds and sun. There may be a spotty shower or thunderstorm. The high 79. Nothing severe tomorrow. Beauty for Friday with sunshine and a high of 83. Partly sunny Saturday, warms up to 87. It's a little cloudier Sunday. Another round of thunderstorms could come through, the high about 83. Right now, not too bad. 66 at St. Peter's, 67 in Florissant. Partly sunny, 68 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, thanks, Joe. It is 6:43, and Illinois has a new state budget, the largest in its history. Governor Pritzker signed it yesterday and says affordability was top of mind in crafting the nearly $56 billion budget.
This is a budget that helps Illinoisans who are struggling with the costs of groceries and housing and energy. It's a budget that helps Illinoisans looking to get a job, buy a home, start a family, pursue their education, launch a business. This is a budget for Illinois' future.
The budget delays a scheduled gas tax increase and sets up a back-to-school sales tax holiday in August. It also raises hundreds of millions of dollars in new taxes, mostly on businesses, social media companies, fantasy sports, and crypto.
There's a new item on Illinois' distracted driving list, AI-powered smart glasses. A bill heading to Governor Pritzker's desk would make clear they're not allowed behind the wheel, and Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulias has an updated message for drivers.
This law keeps pace with new technology while protecting everyone who shares the road, fellow drivers, passengers, cyclists, and pedestrians. Remember, eyes up, phones down, and now, smart glasses off.
Giannoulias calls distracted driving the drunk driving of our time. Federal data shows distracted drivers killed more than 3,200 people nationwide in 2024. The bill now awaits the governor's signature.
State leaders say their game plans involving the Chicago Bears and a potential move to Indiana have not changed.
The governor says communication between the state and the Bears is ongoing, but progress is another story.
We want the Bears to stay. I love the Chicago Bears. I want them to stay either in the city or in the state of Illinois, but we're not going to put that burden on working families across our state.
He says Indiana, where Bears leaders announced plans to develop a new stadium earlier this month, has been open to hiking taxes for the team, something he and his colleagues will not do.
The reality is that the Bears have to express themselves about what it is that they want.
House Speaker Emanuel Chris Welch not ruling out a special session.
Before calling members down to Springfield, interrupting their summers, I think it's important that we do the work here first.
Andy Dane, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Let's start things off at Busch Stadium. KMOX's Matt Pauley.
The Cardinals' revamped lineup continues to pay dividends. In their 3-2 win against the Padres, all 3 runs are driven in by hitters batting 5th or later. Blaze Jordan, Nathan Church, and Lars Nootbaar all drive in a run. Manager Oliver Marmol loves the increased depth of his lineup.
Blaze took a really nice at bat, drove in a run, Churchy at the bottom there as well, and then Newt with the sac fly, but it's awesome when different guys contribute, and we've seen what happens when the bottom gets on in the middle of our order, goes to town, and then today we needed them to come through and drive in a couple runs, so that was really, really good to see.
Jordan, with his RBI double, completes the cycle within his first 5 career games, becoming just the 5th Cardinal in club history to record a single, double, triple, and home run in their first 5 career games. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
To Memphis we go. Matt Pauley, where does this guy fit into the Cardinals lineup?
High fly ball toward left. At the wall, admire the shot. It's a 4-homer game for Joshua Baez. This one touched the moon, hits Mars, and ricochets back down. The meteoric rise of Joshua Baez has hit another stratosphere at AutoZone Park.
The incredible Joshua Baez, 4 home runs in one game since 2005. 16 minor league players have done it, and the Cardinals get an incredible performance out of Baez. He now has 23 home runs, but they do have a crowded outfield right now with Lars Nootbaar, Nathan Church, and Jordan Walker starting regularly. We'll see what the Cardinals end up doing with Baez as we move closer to the trade deadline. As we roll along here, the Cardinals are 4.5 games out in the National League Central. Will they move anybody? Will they move Nootbaar? Will they move May? Will they not? Things are getting interesting. They're the number 1 wild card team in the National League, and they've now won the season series with the Padres, who are also competing for a wild card spot. And on top of all that was the performance last night by Lionel Messi in Kansas City on Fox.
Right up the gut. What a ball that is. Messi on the turn. Options either side. Lionel Messi! There's your goal! There's more history! There's the Magic Man again! Alvarez clearance only as far as Alexis McAllister that decks it on the save. The rebound is Messi's second goal. He might end the night as the World Cup's all-time top goal scorer. Messi with 2, Argentina with 2. Total control for the defending champions. Back out it goes. Nico Gonzalez, Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi!
Lionel Messi, his first World Cup hat trick. He matches Miroslav Klose's career scoring record before thousands of Argentina fans packed into Arrowhead Stadium as Algeria falls 3-0 to Argentina. Messi now with 16 goals in 6 World Cup appearances. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals. Who's Hot, Who's Not, sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories. St. Louis Composting offering soil, mulch, and compost at 9 different locations in the St. Louis area. There's one near you. Just go to stlcompost.com. At the top of the page, they have a cubic yard calculator. When you click on that, you can put in the dimensions of where you want the mulch. They'll tell you how much you need. They have all different kinds of mulch. They have an entire menu of compost, mulch, and soil. And I'll note that they have soil by the bag, including the coveted Missouri Botanical Garden soil, which is available for sale. You can go online to stlcompost.com and have it delivered to your home or business, or if you prefer, you can pull up a truck or trailer and they will load you up with soil, mulch, or compost, and you'll be on your way. They have it all at St. Louis Composting. So great for your yard and your garden. STLcompost.com.
Here's a World Soccer Championship recap.
Brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. Among the group stage surprises, Belgium's 1-1 draw with Egypt in Seattle. Belgium was heavily favored but needed an own goal in the second half to scratch out an equalizer. Belgium had a slight edge in shots, 15-14 over Egypt, and dominated possession, but trailed for much of the match after giving up a first-half goal. I'm Mike Conti.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I was throwing a party for the twins and had custom invites and a banner printed at Staples. And that's when I saw Party City is now at Staples.
Party City? No way!
So now Staples has all your printing needs and everything you need for a party.
Everything times 2.
And now at Staples, save 25% on all custom banners.
Party City is now at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. Some banners available same day when ordered by 12 p.m. Ins 8-1 exclusions apply.
Come out to Hot Shots on Lindbergh this Friday between 12 and 2 p.m. to celebrate 150 years of Budweiser. Don't miss out on a fresh day of brewed Budweiser and a chance to win great prizes while mingling with KMOX sports talent and sports manager Tom Ackerman. And while you're there, don't miss the chance to stay and watch the U.S. versus Australia game on the big screens while enjoying a Budweiser. All happening Friday at Hot Shots on Lindbergh. For more information, go to KMOX.com/events.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:51, a sunny morning. It's going to get hot and then it's going to get stormy. More details on that coming your way in just a moment. Let's get you updated on your ride in this morning. Frank Ladd is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And this update is brought to you by Huff Heating and AC. More volume into downtown St. Louis now from the Metro East, all due to that road construction just west of the 55-64 merge. So you've got delays westbound on Highway 64 approaching the merge with Highway 70. Similar story westbound Highway 70 back to about Illinois 203 now. Once you make your way past about the King Bridge into downtown St. Louis, it's a good run. Remember, I-44 is closed, headed eastbound from the Poplar Street Bridge through downtown St. Louis up to that sinkhole that's just south of the Musel Veterans Bridge. Musel Veterans Bridge looks good so far this morning into downtown. A few more headlights and taillights, a little more volume as well northbound on Highway 270, headed north of Highway 55 up through about Gravois. A little more volume as well southbound on 170, mainly that left lane approaching Highway 64. Headed eastbound on Highway 70 out near Wright City. Just before Wright City, you've got that road construction there east of Warrenton out in Warrenton County. So you've got a pocket of slow traffic through that road construction east of Wright City. It's a great run headed towards Wentzville. Our next traffic update at 6:58. Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
For dependable, no-pressure home comfort solutions, turn to Huff Heating and Air Conditioning. Locally owned and family operated for over 40 years. Our team will work with you on a plan that fits your home's needs with financing available. And as always, your family's comfort is our family's business. Learn more at huffheating.com.
Sunny, windy, hot, and humid today, high of 93. Later this afternoon, we're talking 5 or 6. We're going to start to see thunderstorm activity, severe thunderstorms in the St. Louis area. Even a tornado is possible. A low of 69 tonight, and then tomorrow a high of 79 with a shower thunderstorm, less humid, cooler temperatures. Right now, we have sun in downtown St. Louis, and we're climbing. It's already 68 degrees.
The news continues on KMOX. O'Fallon officials once again debating a temporary ban on multifamily apartments.
This comes just days after the St. Charles County Council debated their own 6-month ban. O'Fallon officials want time to evaluate the long-term impacts of high-density housing, as they say over 3,000 apartments have been built in O'Fallon over the past 2 decades. According to the Post-Dispatch, those officials are worried the housing might place additional burdens on public services, schools, and neighborhoods. The St. Charles County Council is set to discuss the proposal at its July 9th meeting, but a vote isn't likely to happen until later that month. Jade Aubrey, KMOX News.
Also in the news this morning on Total Information AM, one of St. Louis's biggest companies is headed to Texas. Olin Corporation, the Clayton-based chemical and ammunition maker, is merging with rival Huntsman in an all-stock deal worth more than $12 billion in annual revenue. The combined company, to be called Olin Huntsman, will be based near Houston. Olin has about 800 local employees. Its Winchester ammunition plant in East Alton isn't going anywhere. The deal should close in the first half of 2027.
Mizzou's new Springfield campus is set to open next week. The current campus was founded in 2016 and served as a clinical site for a little over 50 third and fourth year students. Last November, the university purchased another building, which will be used to turn the campus into a full 4-year regional medical school. The grand opening of that building will take place next week.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
The birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. We've got a bunch of folks in O'Fallon, Illinois celebrating today, including Gib Harder, Mike Behrens, Mike Rusnick, and Sharon Gage. Also celebrating a birthday today, Nicholas Jenkins from Aunt Carol and the family. Happy birthday, Jenny Schallert from the Springs. And happy birthday to John Glenn and to Jeff and Randy Vines.
This is the best birthday ever.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments,
Grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Grammy award-winning quintet Punch Brothers returns to Powell Hall for a special evening of genre-defying contemporary bluegrass music, featuring the virtuosic talents of mandolinist Chris Thiele, guitarist Chris Eldridge, bassist Paul Cowart, banjoist Noam Pikielny, and violinist Brittany Haas. Punch Brothers creates music and lyrics that are both intellectually daring and emotionally resonant. This is modern string music at its most thrilling, bold, brilliant, and unforgettable. Wednesday, June 24th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Amendment 4 on the August ballot hides some ugly facts. It would create a new minority veto power, but only for ballot issues that are citizen-led.
I just say no to that.
Amendment 4 permanently ends majority rule for citizen-led ballot issues.
I'm a no on 4.
Politicians put Amendment 4 on the ballot to severely limit citizens' constitutional power.
I say no on 4.
4 is a power grab by politicians. It lets one congressional district veto reforms backed by the majority of voters statewide, giving as few as 5% of voters control over the rest of us.
That's why I say no to 4.
4 would make it nearly impossible to rein in out-of-control politicians.
I say heck no.
4 takes away our constitutional power we've used for over 100 years to pass reforms that politicians wouldn't. Keep majority rule and your power. Just say no to Amendment 4. It's an ugly politician power grab. Paid for by Missourians for Fair Governance.
Let's check in with Frank Ladd, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Tom, we've got a crash now eastbound on Highway 70, just past Grand. It's blocking the left lane. Looks like drivers are out of the vehicle now. We've got emergency vehicles pulling up on the scene as well now. So it's eastbound Highway 70. That left lane is currently blocked up. Now we're going to be the 2 left lanes blocked just east of Grand. That has you backed up to Fallon Park with 2 lanes blocked, though, and no express lanes headed towards downtown. That's going to fill up pretty quickly, though, eastbound on Highway 70. Into downtown St. Louis, we've got those delays westbound on Highway 64 now approaching the merge with Highway 5570 headed towards downtown, all due to road construction westbound on 5564 between the 70 merge and the Poplar Street Bridge. Once you get by it, it's a pretty good run into downtown St. Louis, crossing the Poplar. Similar story westbound on Highway 70. That has you backed up to about 203 now, headed towards that merge with Highway 5564. Briefly, all lanes are currently blocked eastbound on Highway 70, east of Grand, as they work to get this vehicle out of the left lane. Our next update at 7:10, Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is 6:59, and it is going to be a stormy day. So just keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be hot, 93 degrees, but then a couple of severe storms later this afternoon and into early tonight. We could even have a tornado, damaging winds, hail. So keep it posted to KMOX.
Huge night for the Cardinals and especially their minor league prospect, Joshua Baez.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. President Trump at the G7 in France this morning, again touting the tentative deal with Iran to end the war.
It's a very strong deal. Nobody knows what it is, but it's very strong. And most people seem to be very happy.
The president says if he's not happy with it, the U.S. would resume its attacks on Iran. Meanwhile, there are calls from lawmakers, especially Democrats, for the president to release more information about the agreement. The president also abruptly delayed the nomination of U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton to be the next director of national intelligence. He says Congress needs to reauthorize a key intelligence program and pass a voter ID bill. One person's dead, several more are hurt after a small private plane crashed in Laredo, Texas overnight. The Washington Post now says the bill for the White House ballrooms ballooned to $600 million, and about half of that will come from taxpayer funds, despite promises from the president that no taxpayer money would be spent. This is ABC News. The suspect's in custody after a deadly shooting at a Delaware hospital, says ABC's Hannah Battah.
A suspect is in custody after police say he opened fire inside a Delaware hospital. The 23-year-old man was arrested in Philadelphia. Sources say the hospital employee shot 2 other workers. One did not survive. The condition of the second is unclear. People were seen leaving the facility with their hands in the air. Police say the incident was targeted and isolated.
The hospital was in Wilmington. New York serial killer Rex Heuermann will be sentenced to life in prison today. He pled guilty to killing 7 women. He's also admitted to killing an 8th woman, even though he was not formally charged in her death. The families of the victims will have the opportunity to address Heuermann at today's sentencing. The YMCA of Detroit estimates 70% of children in the metro area have little to no swimming abilities, so they're offering free swim lessons through the Detroit Swims program for qualifying families. I'm Brian Clark, ABC News.
It is 7:02, and right now we've got sunshine and 68 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. An aldermanic committee advanced a bill allocating $2.5 million of unspent ARPA dollars towards the Water Division. The vote comes just days after a large sinkhole opened up underneath I-44, shutting down a stretch of the highway for at least a week. The bill's sponsor, Alderwoman Ann Schweitzer, says investing in fixing the water mains will help save money by requiring fewer emergency repairs.
So there's less emergency repairs, more planned, scheduled maintenance that will ultimately cost people of St. Louis less money and also result in less issues that cause delays and just unfathomable amounts of problems for everyone else.
Schweitzer says the Water Division needs $700 million in repairs, and getting them every dollar they can helps.
The St. Louis County Council delaying a vote on $2.8 million meant to keep medical care running inside the county jail.
The money would pay for contracted medical staff and treatment for inmates. Before the council held the bill, the jail's new acting director, Tim Ware, warned what's at risk if it doesn't pass.
Failure to pass this legislation will result in several problems. Impact on medical staff morale, not knowing if their funding is going to be there in the future. Treatment restrictions, certain medical procedures and meds not being able to be given, and possibly having to call 911 for medical events within our jail.
The bill was held. Councilmember Shalonda Webb says she's working on a meeting with the health director.
And so as soon as that takes place, I'll give you all the information that you need. Thank you.
Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
And I expressed to them that the corrections medicine budget is about 20% of the health department budget, and I presented ideas on how we can reduce that budget.
St. Louis County Health Director Dr. Kanika Cunningham expressing concerns that she has not had the money to fund 23 contractors at the County Justice Center who provide health care to detainees.
I understand politics to a certain extent. I don't understand politics when it interferes with the lives of individuals, whether we're talking about humans or animals. And that's been the pressure point between my department and the county council. And I think it goes back to they don't understand the operations of the health department.
County Justice Center in recent times lost several detainees for a host of medical reasons, and that's something Cunningham doesn't want to see.
I'm frustrated, but I also think this is another opportunity for me to advocate. I think, I'm going to be honest, I think with the animal shelter, I took a lot of heat, but I think this is also showing this is who I am. I advocate for what's right. And whether those individuals are incarcerated or not, they deserve access to health care. And this shouldn't even be a fight, but if we're going to fight about it, this is a fight that I will fight for.
Under Cunningham's leadership, female detainees are not able to receive mammograms.
A former senior airman stationed at Scott Air Force Base gets 25 years in prison. 33-year-old Michael McKay pleaded guilty in January to 2 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor and 1 count of distribution of child pornography. Prosecutors say McKay often claimed to be a minor online in order to communicate and receive sexual images from minors. They say his abuse happened in numerous locations as he was stationed in the United Kingdom, Turkey, and the Southern District of Illinois.
A serial rapist from Baldwin is going to prison for the rest of his life.
I've been here 19 years. I've never seen a sentence like this.
Yahya Mali sentenced to 291 years for assaulting 7 women he'd met through online dating. The 30-year-old lured them to his apartment at one at a time. Some testified they went back more than once, believing the first attack had been a misunderstanding.
Prosecutors had offered Mali a 25-year deal if he'd plead guilty. He turned that down, went to trial, and a jury convicted him on 17 counts. Here's St. Louis County Prosecutor Melissa Price Smith.
This is a great day. There is finally justice for these women.
Mali maintains his innocence, says he plans to appeal.
After a 2-week delay, the Board of Police Commissioners will vote on whether to approve last-minute raises for command staff. Did the pause only further complicate the impending budget crisis?
Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says board president Chris Saraceno is adamant these raises are needed.
If we are going to retain our leaders that one day will run the police department, we have to be competitive in how we retain them.
McCoy points to a minuscule pay difference between sergeants who make $97,000 a year and lieutenants who make $98,000. The delay was at the request of Mayor Kara Spencer, who said the city needed more time to assess the financial impact the raises would have on the city at large, with the fire department set to receive matching raises if approved. However, the delay may have only further complicated the budget deadline at the end of the month. According to a city spokesman, a June 9th phone call was had between City Chief of Staff Casey Milberg and Police Board Commissioner Sonia Jenkins Gray. Milberg said the Board of Aldermen and the Board of Estimate and Apportionment must wait until after the Police Board votes to approve the raises before modifying their own budgets. Milberg also said Budget Director Paul Payne had still not assessed the financial impact of the raises in that January 9th phone call. Messages reviewed by KMOX show multiple attempts by Jenkins Gray to schedule a meeting between the police department and City Hall that went unanswered by Milberg. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The meeting is today at 4 at police headquarters. They'll also open the floor to public comment.
We'll take a look at your ride-in this morning. Hopefully no problems causing any delays for you. But we will have some severe weather later in the afternoon, and that could cause some issues. We'll tell you more about that next. It's 7:08.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Don't let garage door problems bench your summer plans. From repairs, tune-ups, and replacements, Renner Garage Door hits a grand slam every time. Score a free repair or replacement quote today, plus $100 off a new garage door. Featuring trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, Renner delivers the quality, reliability, and performance your home can count on. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
For decades, Morgan & Morgan has represented hundreds of thousands of people at their hour of need. Injuries on the job, car crashes, medical malpractice, and nursing home abuse, Social Security claims, dangerous drugs, and dangerous products. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason, and no firm is even close. Then we got to thinking, what if we could prevent these terrible events before they occurred? So we built the AI-powered People Protector. Simply visit peopleprotector.com and type in the product you have questions about before you buy it. Children's toys and accessories, cars, drugs, products, you name it, we got it. With our success, we decided to pay it forward for all of America. Our way of saying thank you for your trust all these years. Morgan & Morgan, protecting America. And if you've already been injured, just visit us at forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It's 7:10. Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterey, along with Tom Ackerman and Frank Ladd, who's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Tom, we're back to Tom and Debbie. We're backed up eastbound on Highway 70 now due to a crash at Grand. All lanes still closed. All traffic is being exited off the highway at Grand. All lanes closed due to this vehicle into the median wall there. And remember, we don't have the express lanes as a reliever, so you've got traffic back now past O'Fallon Park headed eastbound on Highway 70. Just had reports of an incident called out westbound Highway 370 at Highway 94. That one involving lane blockage. They were sending a trooper out to check on that. Into downtown St. Louis, westbound on Highway 64. You're on the brakes now from about 25th Street now, headed up towards the merge with Highway 70, westbound Highway 70. Just a little west of 203, you start to hit the brakes now, approaching the merge with Highway 64. It's all due to road construction just west of there near the King Bridge splits, now westbound on Highway 5564, headed towards the downtown St. Louis area. headed towards the Poplar. Once you make your way past the road construction, you are delay-free into downtown St. Louis so far this morning. Northbound on Highway 270, just a little off-the-pace stretch now between Big Bend and Manchester. Back on the brakes at that Clayton Road overpass northbound on 270, approaching Highway 64. Our next traffic update at 7:20. Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, partly sunny today, becoming increasingly windy, hot, and humid with a high of 93. Watch out for a severe thunderstorm or two very late this afternoon and early tonight. They can cause flash flooding and contain hail, damaging wind gusts, and even a tornado. And partly cloudy later tonight, though 69. For tomorrow, intervals of clouds and sun, cooler and less humid. There may be a shower or thunderstorm, high 79. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Currently sunny, 68 in Florissant, 68 in St. Peters, sunny skies, 69 downtown at the Arch.
It's 7:12, and a man sentenced to life without parole for a murder live streamed on Facebook. 34-year-old Taryn Young was sentenced yesterday in the killing of 32-year-old Anthony Jefferson, a local MC and musician. Young is accused of planning, live streaming, and shooting Jefferson after an event at a venue in the 4700 block of Martin Luther King Drive. This was in February of 2024. Jefferson later died of his injuries.
If you live in the Oakville or Melville area, St. Louis County Police are investigating a series of car break-ins. In one incident, a firearm was stolen.
Captain Aaron Rodiger, South County Precinct Commander, tells KMOX the break-ins have been happening mainly in apartment complexes in South County.
Where individuals were going through cars and stealing items out of them. They were going into both unlocked cars and also breaking out windows.
Now, you've heard it many times, but police say do not leave valuables inside your vehicle. And if you have had your car broken into before, Captain Rodiger says do not leave your car doors unlocked. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
The intense attention being given to teen takeovers may actually be fueling the phenomenon. That's what one psychotherapist tells KMOX.
Teens really, they want to feel like they're a part of something.
John Pulse works with teens and young adults in his practice and says the social media piece of teen takeovers is huge.
A lot of these kids are live streaming while they're doing it. They want to be recognized, and so they're getting these dopamine hits by the likes and the comments and the shares.
Speaking on Total Information AM, Pulse says there should be clear messages sent about consequences, though he says sometimes teenagers will push that aside to be part of a group. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Who's footing the bill for all of the additional security at World Cup venues?
Across the board, a lot of the cities we're not very happy with the amount of cost that the security that it is costing the taxpayers, but it's got to be paid by somebody, and it sounds like it's going to be each of the local government areas, the local municipalities. The only good thing about that is hopefully they're making a lot of money because of these events.
That's Rich Frankel, former special agent in charge of the FBI in New York, who says coordinated efforts using AI and drones is being provided on the state and federal level as well. The drones being provided by federal law enforcement is one thing, he says, but putting more boots on the ground at venues is another, one that is proving to be expensive.
Major League Baseball issuing warnings to 3 San Francisco Giants pitchers for putting Bible verses on their Pride Night caps. They wrote the verses on the team's rainbow pride cap with a passage from Genesis scrawled next to the logo. MLB says the writing violated league rules and that the players had been warned about doing it again. The rules do not let players add writing or illustrations to any part of the uniform, no matter what it says. The first time it happens, there's a warning. After that, there is discipline.
With Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney. What a game for Dustin May on Monday night. A one-hitter and a 3-0 victory for the Cardinals. Then last night, Andre Palante retired the first 14 batters he faced. He went on to get the win and is an 8-game winner. The Cardinals beat the Padres 3-2.
Palante was very sharp. He had a lot of first-pitch strikes. I thought his fastball command was outstanding, and he was able to get deep into the game, too. Got help from Stanek and then Riley O'Brien, who closed it out for save number 18.
Mason Wynn, another great game at shortstop.
His defense was spectacular. J.J. Weatherholt had a very nice night offensively.
Weatherholt with 3 hits, also on with a walk, and a 16-game hitting streak as Burleson got a hit.
And now it's up to Kyle Leahy for the Cardinals to get to +10 for the first time all year today.
That's coming up today. Ricky's going to have the lineups beginning at 1:05. Our pregame show starts at 12:20. The first pitch from Kyle Leahy at 1:15.
Our player of the game this evening, J.J. Weatherholt, 3 hits tonight. You also had a walk, a good night at the plate on Teacher's Night. Talk a little bit about that, catching the first pitch tonight.
That was super cool. Was able to catch the first pitch from my 5th grade teacher. I think that brought me some good energy, and then was able to play a good ball game.
We may have to make her a season ticket holder here pretty soon.
I could get behind that.
How about this ball club right now? Everybody seems like they're having a lot of fun, and every night somebody's doing something big. What's it been like for you in your first year being part of something like that?
Yeah, I mean, we've really been playing well off of each other. I think the squad does a really good job of not trying to do too much, just play their part, pass the torch on offense, and just try to play good defense. So,
and certainly the bottom of the order is starting to really contribute a lot more. You guys are having a lot more opportunities to drive in runs. That means a lot to this ball club right now.
100%, yeah. I mean, getting runs from the bottom of the order, I mean, we know how talented those guys are at hitting, so especially when they're going well. It's just big for us to have that production.
And the defense right now is as good as it's been all year. You and Mason seem like you are on a real good page right now, along with the rest of the team. And what's been the key there, along with the dedication and hard work you guys have put into it?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is just the work that we put in pregame. And then Mason does a great job of controlling the infield, just talking to everybody, make sure our positioning lines up. And, he's so aggressive to every ball, and, he's got a chance to make any play. It's just been a ton of fun to watch.
So your 5th grade teacher, what made her so important to you?
Well, I mean, first of all, she's just one of my favorite teachers, just remembering when I was a kid. She always had a ton of energy and really made learning fun for me. So something you never forget is always those good teachers that you have. And, when they told me she was coming, I was super excited.
We were excited for her and you tonight. Nice work this evening. Let's go get them tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
He's J.J. Weatherholt. He is our player of the game.
Cardinals' #1 wild card team in the National League and 4.5 games out in the NL Central. Let's go to Memphis. Cut of the game sponsored by The Diamond Shop. TheDiamondShop.net. Hello, Joshua Baez.
High fly ball toward left. At the wall, admire the shot. It's a 4-homer game for Joshua Baez.
Yes, you heard that right. 4 home runs in 1 game for Joshua Baez. That is a Redbirds single-game record, the 16th such game in minor league baseball since at least 2005. Redbirds beat Nashville by a final of 12-5. Baez leads the league in home runs with 22. I'm Tom Ackerman. Lionel Messi with a hat trick in World Cup play. We'll touch on that at 7:45 on KMOX.
You can never have too many tools. Shop DeWalt deals at Lowe's. Get a free Select DeWalt 20-Volt Max Power Tool when you buy a Select 20-Volt Max 5-amp-hour battery kit. Plus, get a free additional DeWalt 20-Volt Max 8-amp-hour battery when you buy a DeWalt 10-inch 20-Volt Max Dual Bevel Compounded Miter Saw. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 6/24 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores.
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Cards fans ready to dress for the occasion? Well, Friday, June 26th, as the Cardinals take on the Miami Marlins, you'll get a brand new all-over Prince shirt. But that's just the start. You'll also get the matching shorts, too. It's not just a shirt, but a full summer set that brings a tropical twist to game night and makes waves in the stands. Available in medium and XL while supplies last. More details and tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
The weekend starts here. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live at Busch Stadium. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Loop with $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at Cardinals.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's 7:21 and time for us to check in with Frank Ladd, who's keeping his eye on things from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, I'm watching emergency vehicles start to pull away. This is the good news. Eastbound Highway 70 at Grand. Not all of them are gone, so the two left lanes remain blocked, as well as the accident is still there, eastbound Highway 70 at Grand. That has you backed up to about Cary now, headed towards downtown St. Louis on eastbound 70. Into downtown St. Louis from the Metro East, westbound on Highway 64, backed up to about 25th Street now, headed towards the merge with Highway 70. Similar story, it's heavy westbound Highway 70 towards that merge with Highway 64, all due to road construction just west of there, just before the Poplar Street Bridge at about the King Bridge split. Through the Central Corridor, westbound on Highway 64. You're on the brakes now, starting at about Hampton in pockets, headed out towards Big Bend. Southbound on 170, it's a little off the pace. That left lane mainly headed towards Highway 64 from about the Forest Park Parkway area. And then pockets of volume northbound on Highway 270 now. Not quite stop and go between 55 and looks like gravel. You're back on the brakes again between 44 and Manchester Road, all the way up through to Highway 64. Didn't see anything on a camera after that earlier call out for emergency vehicles to respond to a scene westbound 370 at Highway 94. Our next traffic update at 7:30. Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We're looking at a warm, breezy, humid day, a high of 93. And then after the game today, a couple of severe thunderstorms will roll in. That'll be very late this afternoon, early evening. Could cause flash flooding, contain hail, damaging winds, even a tornado. Partly cloudy later tonight, a low of 69 degrees. Currently, we have 69 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:23. Illinois state leaders say a newly signed budget will help make life more affordable for families, though some in Springfield argue the opposite. Andy Dane has more.
Responsible budgeting is no longer the exception in Illinois. It is the rule.
Governor Pritzker says affordability was top of mind in crafting the nearly $56 billion budget for 2027.
Working families need relief, and this Illinois budget makes that possible by making housing, education, healthcare, insurance, food, and other necessities more affordable and accessible. And it puts money back into people's pockets.
It also includes pauses to the state's motor fuel tax increase, as well as sales taxes on back-to-school supplies. Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton.
In Illinois, we are doing everything we can to provide some relief and ease the pain inflicted by a president who told us just days ago that he, quote, loves the inflation. Well, you deserve better.
House Minority Leader Tony McCombie says the budget puts government growth over affordability.
He chose more spending and more pressure on family budgets instead of pursuing property tax relief, energy affordability, and economic growth.
Governor Pritzker says he still hopes to see the Bears play their home games in Illinois, but it's the team's turn on offense now.
After signing the state's new budget into law, the governor was asked where things stand with the Bears nearly 2 weeks after team leaders announced they were advancing development of a new stadium in Indiana.
We're not going to do what Indiana has done, which is raise taxes, sales taxes, raise tolls on people in order to pay for a stadium for a billionaire-owned team.
A Lake County lawmaker this week introduced legislation described as a, quote, straightforward business proposal to keep the Bears in Illinois through both private investment and state contributions. But House Speaker Emanuel Chris Welch says they need to see game plans from the team.
I think Illinois is still the place the Bears want to be. I think it's important that they tell us what they want. I think it's important that we continue to have those conversations.
Andy Dane, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Put down your phone and take off your smart glasses. Illinois lawmakers passing a bill making it clear that wearing AI-powered smart glasses behind the wheel counts as distracted driving.
Secretary of State Alexei Giannoulias, who championed the measure, says the law is about catching up to fast-moving technology.
Because whether the distraction is in your hand or right in front of your eyes, the risk and danger are the same.
Illinois already bans handheld devices while driving, with an exception for hands-free use, but the bill says that exception doesn't cover smart glasses. It now heads to Governor Pritzker's desk.
A Washington University study finds a new mRNA-based flu vaccine may protect against a wide array of influenza strains.
WashU medicine immunologist Dr. Hanover Matt says they followed 75 healthy adults between the ages of 20 and 50 for 6 months after getting their flu vaccine. Half had Moderna's new investigational mRNA version. The other half had the conventional flu shot.
We found that an mRNA-based vaccine stimulated a very strong immune response, and it generated antibodies that could block many different types of the flu virus. Every year, it's very difficult for flu vaccines to beat the flu virus because the virus changes a lot, and we always have to update the vaccines. But this mRNA-based vaccine seems to be very good at combating those changes in the virus.
Moderna hopes the FDA will grant approval for this mRNA-based flu vaccine by August. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Mizzou's new Springfield, Missouri campus is set to open next week. The current campus was founded in 2016 and served as a clinical site for a little over 50 third and fourth year students. Last November, the university purchased another building, which will be used to turn the campus into a full 4-year regional medical school. The grand opening of the building will take place next Wednesday.
It's official. That historic A and Eagle sign is coming to St. Louis. Anheuser-Busch confirming the animated sign from its shuttered New Jersey brewery is getting a permanent home at the flagship St. Louis campus. The announcement comes alongside a more than $20 million investment in the company's St. Louis brewery and its aluminum can plant in Arnold, money aimed at boosting production of Michelob Ultra, now the best-selling beer in the country. AB says it will release more details on the sign's installation later this year.
It's 7:27. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about Burn Balance Complex, which is available at Supplement Superstores. And look, I've been using Burn Balance Complex since the week that it was released, and you notice the benefits really soon after you get started. Look, what Burn Balance Complex is a complete metabolism system. It is not just a fat burner. It works with your body, not against you, right? It's not bringing a lot of the negativity that other supplements bring. It's nothing but the good stuff. It's a natural weight loss option for people that just don't want prescriptions or injections. I get that. I understand it. And to me, Burn Balance Complex is the best thing I've used when it comes to natural weight loss. Also helps with reducing stress and lowering cortisol levels. You're going to get appetite and cravings control along with that, plus all-day focused energy with no jitters, which is the best part. Look, it's not magic. You got to put in the work. Burn Balance Complex makes putting in the work that much easier. So get out to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you, and they'll knock 30% off for you right there on the spot. And you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
A divorce is more than just legal paperwork. It's a life change. The stress, the uncertainty, the tough conversations. Cordell & Cordell understands what it's really like to face the unknown. The law firm of Cordell & Cordell has been representing clients during these transitions for over 35 years, helping you focus on what matters most. If you or someone you know is facing a divorce or family law matter, visit CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. Joseph Cordell, Principal Partner.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees, when used as directed. Spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour, and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
It is now 7:30. Bright sunshine in downtown St. Louis. It's already 70 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. We do have some volume building out there. It's Frank Ladd over at Door Company's St. Louis Traffic Center.
Tom, crews are still on the scene of this crash. It's eastbound Highway 70 at Grand. The two left lanes remained blocked there. Still waiting on a tow vehicle, it looks like. The emergency vehicles have moved away, but the MoDOT trucks are still there blocking those two left lanes. That has you backed up to about Cary now, eastbound on Highway 70. Into downtown St. Louis, road work is what's slowing you down. Westbound on Highway 64 from 25th Street, westbound Highway 70 from just west of 203, headed towards the Poplar Street Bridge. And you do have volume westbound on Highway 64 now, starting at about the Science Center out to McCausland. Southbound 170, you're a stop and go now from Olive headed down towards 64 in pockets. A report of a crash near Forest Park Parkway, not seeing it on a camera just yet. Eastbound on Highway 64, volume between McKnight and Big Bend. Similar story, just pockets of volume, not quite stop and go. Northbound on Highway 270 between 55 and 44. You do have a couple stop and go pockets now north of 44, headed up towards Manchester Road on northbound 270. Our next traffic update at 7:40. Frank Ladd, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be a hot day today, getting up to 93 degrees with sunshine and pretty windy. And that's going to be the case until the storms roll in. Later this afternoon into this evening, we're looking at some severe storms like hail, damaging winds, flooding downpours, maybe a tornado. Once that moves out, so do the hot temperatures. Tomorrow's high just 79 degrees. We could see a shower or thunderstorm in spots tomorrow, otherwise clouds and sun. Currently, it is 71 downtown.
It's 7:32. Will the state-appointed Board of Police Commissioners vote to give raises to command staff? Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says the board's president, Chris Saraceno, is steadfast in approving these raises.
We are significantly down when it comes to pay for our lieutenants, captains, majors, and lieutenant colonels, even with our counterparts in St. Louis County.
The vote was initially scheduled 2 weeks ago, but Mayor Kara Spencer asked the vote be held so that the city can further assess the impact the raises in the fire department's matching raises would have on the overall budget.
Days after broken water mains opened up a sinkhole under I-44 near the Dome, an aldermanic committee advanced a bill reallocating millions of ARPA dollars to the Water Division.
Over $2.5 million would be reallocated from programs such as small business grants, violence prevention, and support care workers. The bill sponsor, Alderwoman Ann Schweitzer, says the Water Division needs every dollar it can get.
When we think about the rate increases and these capital improvements that are available through ARPA funds and through RAMS funds, it's about creating a package of funding that will be able to address those $700 million of capital improvement needs.
Schweitzer says the funds being reallocated would not have been spent by the December 31st deadline. She and other aldermen hinted there could be more appropriations of funding in the future from unspent ARPA dollars to the Water Division. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
It's turning out to be another historic peach crop for Eckert's Belleville Farm. About 40% more peaches this year than last year's big season. Eckert's Farm's president, Chris Eckert, says growing peaches this far north is always a challenge, but they've been lucky. They've evolved, and now they've achieved record-breaking harvests. Pick your own peaches at the Belleville location, officially started yesterday.
I may have to pick up some Eckert's peaches.
Yeah, get out there.
Those are amazing. It's not even like fruit. It's like candy.
Yeah, it's a good time with the kids for sure.
Well, the news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Bloomberg Money Minute coming up next.
Before a nation, there was an idea. Before freedom, there was a sacrifice. This year, KMOX marks America's 250th birthday. Step into history with John Hancock and Michael Kelly, Sunday mornings at 8, as they pull you into the moment where everything was on the line. This is the sound of a nation being born. Celebrate America, 250 years strong, with Hancock and Kelly, Sunday mornings at 8, only on KMOX.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, rock star. Let's look at your account.
When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything.
Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Your Money Minute at 7:36, sponsored by Busey Bank on KMOX. We get the latest from Bloomberg.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Verizon is launching a simplified wireless plan called Simplicity while introducing a new loyalty rewards program, which will offer free and discounted deals to existing customers. Verizon Shine will offer weekly giveaways for experiences such as tickets to music festivals and free stuff from brands like Starbucks, Arby's, and Dunkin'. Rival T-Mobile has found success in luring customers with benefits. Checking on the markets, they're watching the Federal Reserve. The central bank is expected to keep interest rates on hold this afternoon. S&P futures are higher this morning. Meantime, Jaguar Land Rover will add more hybrid SUVs as part of a plan to target the U.S. The automaker is looking to create hybrid versions of the luxury Range Rover and Defender without a plug. It will focus even more on the U.S. with a push, especially for the Defender. This report is sponsored by Vanguard Investor Choice, a proxy voting program for eligible Vanguard index funds. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the take care of my family goal. This is the enjoy the life I've built goal. This is the set up a foundation goal. This is Busey, where your goals become lasting legacies. Through bespoke plans that maximize your wealth, through partnerships that give you peace of mind. Because building wealth, tending to it, and passing it down secures a brighter future. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at StraightTalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
Today, the Cards, the Padres.
Emlyn Total Access 1220. First pitch 1:15.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hey, with all this World Cup frenzy right now, and we have watch parties all throughout the St. Louis area, I got another one for you, and this one's unique. It's a little different. It's going to be Friday at noon. I will be at the Hot Shots on Lindbergh. That is in Limay. And we are going to have Day Fresh Budweiser on hand. That's pretty rare. So they're going to have bottles of Day Fresh Budweiser at the Hot Shots on Lindbergh from 12 to 2. I'll be there with you, and we'll get ready to watch Team USA take on Australia at 2 o'clock. What a great spot for us to gather and watch some World Cup soccer on Friday. Looking forward to it. Oh, it just so happens that Friday is pretty much everybody's day off. So we're going to have good and beautiful weather. It's going to be an awesome day on Friday. Join me at Hot Shots on Lindbergh and Budweiser.
7:40. It's a beautiful morning. I would get out and enjoy it while you can before it gets too hot and or stormy. More details on that from our AccuWeather meteorologist in just a moment. But first, our traffic expert is Frank Ladd. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, thanks, Debbie. I'm keeping an eye on this crash. It's eastbound Highway 70. It's at the Grand exit. The two left lanes remain blocked. Still has you backed up to about Cary eastbound on Highway 70. And remember, the express lanes are not an option headed eastbound on Highway 70, all due to the closure of Highway 44 just north of the Dome. So you've got extra volume there headed through that stretch eastbound Highway 70 starting at Cary. Southbound on 170, I still haven't seen a crash near Forest Park Parkway. However, there is a lot of volume now. Starting at Page, you've got stop-and-go pockets between Page and Delmar. Back on the brakes and sluggish passing the Forest Park Parkway area. You're back on the brakes and it's heavy, that left lane ramping onto eastbound Highway 64. You've got stop-and-go pockets eastbound on Highway 64 starting at Lindbergh all the way up to Big Bend. Westbound Highway 64, you're on the brakes at the Science Center out to McCausland. Into downtown St. Louis, you've got delays now. Westbound 64 approaching the merge with Highway 70. Westbound Highway 70 approaching the merge with Highway 64, all due to road construction in a lane block. Westbound on Highway 5564, just past the merge near the King Bridge split. Northbound on Highway 270 this morning is sluggish, off the pace now between Highway 55 and Highway 44. A stop-and-go stretch north of 44 up to about Manchester Road, headed up towards Highway 64. And a pocket of volume eastbound on Highway 64 now passing Lake St. Louis, headed towards Highway 364. Our next traffic update at 7:50. Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Honey, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Oh, you are, but this one's certified, background check, shows up on time, and can install all the ceiling fans.
Heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. Trusted pros who do it right.
Joe Lundberg, it's going to be a hot one at Busch Stadium today, but these are Cardinals fans. They know what's up. It's like the heat of the summer. They'll be ready to go for a 1:15 start against the Padres.
At least there'll be a wind to kind of ameliorate the worst of the heat. Just not going to be sitting there in a blast furnace, but it is going to get hot and humid and windy. We've got the wind advisory from 1 p.m. through 8 p.m. We'll see some sunshine. We'll get to 93, but there's a strong cold front that's going to come blasting through here this evening. Now, this is going to produce severe thunderstorms. We're already seeing some nasty thunderstorms moving through central and eastern Iowa right now. Those will fly by well over north and east, but they've been producing 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts to give you an idea of the potential of these storms later today. So damaging wind gusts, flash flooding, hail, and tornadoes are all possible with these line of storms. After the ball game, late this afternoon and early tonight, and partly cloudy later tonight, those 69. Cooler, less humid tomorrow with clouds and sun, maybe a shower or thunderstorm, high 79. Tom, you're talking about a nice day Friday. I think it's going to be beautiful with sunshine and a high of 83. Partly sunny Saturday up to 87. Sunday, lots of clouds, maybe some thunderstorms move through the high 83. It's already 69 at St. Peter's, 71 in Florissant, 70 and partly sunny downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, thank you, Joe. It is going on 7:44. President Trump upsetting the apple cart in the Senate when it comes to the plan to swiftly confirm his choice of Director of National Intelligence. We get more from ABC's Stephen Portnoy.
It's a stunning development here, coming just hours before the president's pick to lead the intelligence community was due to appear at his hastily arranged confirmation hearing. President Trump says Jay Clayton is still his choice, but he's canceling the hearing, keeping mortgage watchdog Bill Pulte in as acting DNI, and threatening not to sign an extension of the surveillance tool known as FISA Section 702, unless it also includes the controversial mail-in ballot reforms and voting ID requirements of the Save America Act.
Security for World Cup games in the U.S. includes a watch for drones. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay.
Law enforcement is on alert for attack drones as the World Cup games play out across the country. A White House official tells ABC News the U.S. will have counter-drone technology at all 78 matches in the U.S., including the ability to jam drones to stop them from moving. The FBI has already seized 35 recreational drones near World Cup venues in Miami and Atlanta.
Speaking of the World Cup, let's start there before we get to all of the baseball. Messi.
Right up the gut. What a ball that is. Messi on the turn. Options either side. Lionel Messi! There's your goal! There's more history! There's the Magic Man again! Julian Alvarez clearance only as far as Alexis McAllister on the decks and on the save! The rebound is Messi's second goal! He might end the night as the World Cup's all-time top goal scorer. Messi with 2, Argentina with 2. Total control for the defending champions. Down it goes. Nico Gonzalez, Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi! First career World Cup hat trick ties the all-time goal-scoring record.
The call on Fox, Lionel Messi, his first World Cup hat trick, and he matches Miroslav Klose's career scoring record before thousands of Argentina fans packed into Arrowhead Stadium for a match against Algeria. The defending champions went on to win the match. Final score was 3-0. What a night for Messi. Joshua Baez sees your 3 and raises you 1. How about this in Memphis?
This one bolted deep down the left field line, and that ball is gone. It's a laser beam off the bat of Joshua Baez. This one hit in the air pretty well deep to right center field. On the run is Lara. He won't get there because it's gone. It's a 2-home run game for Joshua Baez in here tonight. This one powered deep down the left field line. It's a 3-home run ball game. Joshua Baez does it again, and the Redbirds go back-to-back in this 5th. 3's up for number 27. High fly ball toward left. At the wall, admire the shot. It's a 4-homer game for Joshua Baez.
Unbelievable. Joshua Baez, the top prospect in the Cardinals organization right now, bashes 4 home runs as Memphis beats Nashville 12-5, 16th player in minor league baseball to do it since 2005. He now has 22 home runs, and Memphis has a tremendous outfielder in Joshua Baez. So Cardinals fans are asking, well, where is he? Why hasn't he been called up? The answer is your outfield is Lars Nootbaar, Nathan Church, and Jordan Walker. You're going to send one of those guys out for Baez? I guess it's a fair question if you have a power hitter going like that. But right now, the Cardinals have things going really well, Matt Pauley. And yesterday, it was all about the pitching side. It was excellent.
One day after Dustin May throws a one-hit shutout, the Cardinals get another really good starting pitching performance from Andre Pallante, leading the Cardinals to a 3-2 win over the Padres. Pallante goes 7 innings, giving up just 2 runs on 4 hits with 6 strikeouts and no walks. Last season, Pallante has a 5.31 ERA, which was the 4th worst among qualifying starting pitchers in Major League Baseball. This season, he has 8 wins, which is tied for the most among National League starting pitchers, and now carries a 3.76 ERA. Manager Oliver Marmol details Pallante's improvement.
What we're seeing at Pallante has been awesome. When you talk about growth and being diligent with your work and seeing things through, think about a year or 2 ago, kind of where he was at and how the game would speed up on him. And then you take a game like today and there's just a different presence to him. His demeanor and overall, the way he's taking the mound is different. There's a confidence to what he's doing, and it's been good. A game like today, man, he just filled up the zone. Fastball was really good, 19 out of 22 with that pitch. Slider was in the zone more, so that's a pretty dominant outing.
Pallante has allowed 2 runs or less in 5 of his last 6 starts. During that time, he has a 2.88 ERA. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Scoreless 8th for Ryan Stanek and a scoreless 9th and a save for Riley O'Brien. Cardinals look great on the pitching side. They're 4.5 out in the Central, and they are the number 1 wildcard team in the National League. Ins and Outs sponsored by Innsbrook Resort, where every day is the weekend. Innsbrook is phenomenal. Even on a hot day like today, a nice dip in a cold lake at Innsbrook. They have over 100 lakes at Innsbrook, 7,500 acres. That's about the size of a national park or bigger. It is a tremendous place to enjoy wildlife, to enjoy a nice laid-back vacation. Or if you want to have some fun, they have crowds of people watching fireworks on the lake for the 4th of July. They have concerts every Saturday during the summer. We can't wait to take part in Innsbrook. You can go into town, grab all the things you need for your place at the market, and then head back out to your lake home at Innsbrook. Innsbrook-resort.com. Parlay of the day, sponsored by Circus Sports, sports betting the way it should be. And taking a look at the U.S. Open. That's kind of where my focus is right now because at this time tomorrow they will have started. So let's do it now. Scottie Scheffler's odds are getting a tad longer. The number 1 player in the world is a plus 590 to win the U.S. Open. I'd consider it just as a safety pick. But if you want to have some value, I see Cameron Young at plus 2,100. Ludwig Oberg is going to get one of these times. He's at plus 2,700. And I kind of like Sam Burns at plus 3,600. Just some numbers to consider. Parlay of the day. Sponsored by Circa Sports. Sports betting the way it should be.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app. Then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Come out to Hot Shots on Lindbergh this Friday between 12 and 2 p.m. to celebrate 150 years of Budweiser. Don't miss out on a fresh day of brewed Budweiser and a chance to win great prizes while mingling with KMOX sports talent and sports manager Tom Ackerman. And while you're there, don't miss the chance to stay and watch the U.S. versus Australia game on the big screens while enjoying a Budweiser. All happening Friday at Hot Shots on Lindbergh. For more information, go to KMOX.com/events.
A common question I receive is, how is the market right now? It just seems so volatile. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. If you want to buy or sell but feel overwhelmed by the whiplash of the market, then let's talk. With over 23 years as a broker, I have the exact experience you need to help you navigate this tricky market. Call me at 314-441-4444. 314-441-ALL-4s. And remember, why pay more than two?
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
7:52, and here's Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Debbie, we've got pockets of stop-and-go volume now southbound on 170 starting at Page, headed down towards the Forest Park Parkway area. You're stacked up in that left lane from the Forest Park Parkway, headed down towards Highway 64. Eastbound on Highway 64, stop-and-go now in pockets between Lindbergh and Big Bend. Westbound 64, you've got a stop-and-go stretch passing Forest Park. Eastbound Highway 70, the two left lanes remain closed due to this crash at Grand. That has you backed up to about Cary, and still volume into downtown St. Louis. Westbound Highway 64 approaching the merge with Highway 70, stop and go in that stretch there. Heavy as well westbound Highway 70 west to 203, headed up towards the merge with Highway 64. And we had reports of lumber in the road southbound Highway 270 just south of the exit to Highway 70. They were sending a trooper out to check on that. It could be in one of the center lanes there. Our next traffic update at 7:58. Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Frank, here's what we have today. Windy, hot, and humid, a high of 93. Now, the thunderstorm activity, Joe says, won't come in until well after the game this afternoon. It's a 1:15 Cardinals game. That game's fine. A couple of severe thunderstorms very late this afternoon and early tonight. Could cause flash flooding, contain hail, damaging winds, even a tornado. Everything on the table for that one late this afternoon, early this evening. Partly cloudy later tonight, low 69. Tomorrow, intervals of clouds and sun, cooler, less humid, a shower or thunderstorm in spots, and a high of 79 degrees. Going to be a warm one today. We're in the 70s now. It's 71 and sunny downtown at the Arch.
It's 7:54. This is Total Information AM.
Not again. I'm Fred Bottomer with 60 Seconds to Better Health. Does your child get frequent nosebleeds? ABC News correspondent Alex Stone has some advice.
About half of children age 5 and older will experience at least one nosebleed, according to experts at the American Medical Association. The nose contains many small, delicate blood vessels along the inside that are easily irritated by dry air, injury, or inflammation. When this happens, it can lead to bleeding. Common causes include allergies, respiratory infections, dry climates, high altitude, nose picking, or inserted objects. To prevent a nosebleed, keep your child's nose moist with saline spray. Use a humidifier, avoid forceful nose blowing, and remind them to keep fingers and objects out of their nostrils. When a bloody nose does happen, have your child sit upright, lean forward, and gently pinch the soft part of the nose for 10 minutes while breathing out of their mouth. Seek emergency care if bleeding lasts more than 30 minutes, if they lose a lot of blood or your child experiences breathing issues or vomiting.
With 60 seconds to better health, I'm Fred Bottomer.
Well, here's a story that affects many of our listeners. The speed limit on Manchester Road will be lowered. According to MoDOT, Manchester stretches for nearly 20 miles, taking traffic on Route 100 through 11 different cities in the county. Last month, the Kirkwood City Council unanimously voted to request MoDOT lower the speed limit from 35 to 30 miles per hour. The Post-Dispatch reports MoDOT agreed to conduct a speed study, but warns that any changes will take time.
The city of Ferguson canceling the 4th of July fireworks show, citing rising event costs and staffing demands. The city announcing the move is their way of ensuring resources remain available for other community events planned throughout the year. The annual Ferguson 4th of July parade is still on, starting at 10 a.m. at the Ferguson Fire Department. It will end at January Wabash Memorial Park.
It's 7:56.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
If you need work on trees, and pretty much everybody does at this point, we have trees all throughout the St. Louis area that can cause some damage. I just saw it for myself, a giant tree limb that was down on top of some property. It's Gamma Tree Experts. You know, when these storms move in like today, no matter what you do with your tree care prevention, and Gamma Tree can take a look at all of your trees. Sometimes Mother Nature just does what she does, and storm damage will happen. So you call on Gamma Tree Experts for quick work and quick service. Their main office is available 24 hours a day. That number, that 24-hour line, is 314-789-8792. You can also go to gammatree.com if you didn't have time to write that down. 314-789-8792. You can count on Gamma Tree Experts for prompt professional help. It's reassuring to know that Gamma Tree Experts crews are well trained to work in those hazardous situations. Gamma Tree Experts, gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
Amendment 4 on the August ballot hides some ugly facts. It would create a new minority veto power, but only for ballot issues that are citizen-led.
I just say no to that.
Amendment 4 permanently ends majority rule for citizen-led ballot issues.
I'm a no on 4.
Politicians put Amendment 4 on the ballot to severely limit citizens' constitutional power.
I say no on 4.
4 is a power grab by politicians. It lets one congressional district veto reforms backed by the majority of voters statewide, giving as few as 5% of voters control over the rest of us.
That's why I say no to 4.
4 would make it nearly impossible to rein in out-of-control politicians.
I say heck no.
4 takes away our constitutional power we've used for over 100 years to pass reforms that politicians wouldn't. Keep majority rule and your power. Just say no to Amendment 4. It's an ugly politician power grab. Paid for by Missourians for Fair Governance.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Sun's out, so dads are too. This Father's Day at Lowe's, shop the gear that'll make his summer. Get 2 free Select DeWalt power tools when you buy a Select 5 amp-hour battery kit for weekends in the garage. Plus, get a free Blackstone 6-piece stainless steel griddle kit when you buy a Select Blackstone griddle. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 6/24. While supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Here is Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Debbie, we'll start with the good news. They cleared the accident. All lanes back open eastbound on Highway 70 at Grand. That's the good news there. Still seeing delays into downtown westbound 64 approaching the merge with Highway 70. Similar story westbound Highway 70 approaching the merge with 64. Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. We could get more details as soon as today on the peace deal the U.S. and Iran are supposed to sign Friday. Early today, President Trump in France only saying it's a strong deal.
Top Republicans on Capitol Hill have been left in the dark. Democrats say the Trump administration has something to hide. Vice President J.D. Vance has described the agreement as a very general document, about a page and a half long. The U.S. agreeing to lift the blockade of Iranian ports, Iran reopening the Strait of Hormuz, and then 60 days of talks to negotiate the future of Iran's nuclear program. Still unclear what kind of financial reward Iran has been promised.
It's ABC's Rachel Scott. This morning, the president demanded Congress pass both a reauthorization of a key intelligence program and a voter ID law, while also delaying his nomination of a U.S. attorney to take over as director of national intelligence. Wildfires are threatening thousands of homes in eastern Washington state. Firefighters say some homes have been lost. This is ABC News. There's positive news about the health of the youngest Americans. ABC's Jim Ryan says infant mortality in the U.S. is at its lowest ever rate.
Preliminary data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention finds that 5.4 babies per 1,000 born in 2025 didn't make it to their first birthday. As tragic as it is, it's the lowest rate in U.S. history. The decline was only fractions of a percentage point below the 2024 figure, but in hard numbers represented hundreds of lives.
The Department of Education took another step towards permanently shutting down a goal of President Trump, moving special education services to the Department of Health and Human Services and its civil rights responsibilities to the Department of Justice. Authorities in Washington state say the two teenagers were injured during a bear encounter on Mount Si east of Seattle. One was attacked by the bear. Both were able to make their way back to a group of friends. The trails were closed as authorities search for the bear. I'm Brian Clark, ABC News.
At 8:02, we have sunny skies, 73 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Wednesday, June 17th. I'm Megan Lynch. Medical care delayed. St. Louis County Council members hit pause on about $2.8 million in funding for the jail.
Substitute Bill number 1 for Bill number 72.
The council held off on nearly $2.9 million for inmate medical care. The jail's new acting director, Tim Ware, warned a lapse would not just affect those behind bars.
A lapse in funding could cause police officers to have to use hospitals to get medical approvals before the initial intake of their prisoners in the jail. And this could cause delays for the officers to be back on the street, overcrowd hospitals, and take officers off the street when they should be answering calls.
The money would cover contracted medical staff and care inside of the jail. Chair Rita Days moved to hold the bill on final passage. It could come back before the council. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The St. Louis County Health Director has been waiting since April to receive $2.8 million to fund 23 contracted positions to provide care for detainees at the County Justice Center. The council made earlier cuts this year to the budget. Dr. Kanika Cunningham.
Individuals who are at the jail, number one, it's their right to have access to health care. I don't think they understand it as a county council. I don't think they are prioritizing it. Quite frankly, I don't think they care. And I think that this is unfortunate because we're talking about individuals. For some people, this is the first time they've actually received health care. We start people on their blood pressure medications. People are diagnosed with diabetes. We manage their, any respiratory illnesses, especially for substance use. We treat so many individuals with a substance use disorder. And for most people, unfortunately, coming to the jail is their first connection to healthcare.
Cunningham tells KMOX the county council changed the entire budget process.
They introduced new resolutions and ordinances to, make this process even more complicated. One thing that I've shared is that all of my options I have, it requires a transfer request before the county council, which requires their approval.
75% of the detainees at the jail are African Americans, something Cunningham says, quote, is yet another disproportionate impact on black health in St. Louis County.
An Aldermanic committee advanced a bill allocating $2.5 million of unspent ARPA dollars toward the water division. The vote comes just days after a large sinkhole opened up underneath I-44, shutting down the stretch of the highway for at least a week. The bill's sponsor, Alderwoman Ann Schweitzer, says investing in fixing the water mains will help save money by requiring fewer emergency repairs.
So there's less emergency repairs, more planned, scheduled maintenance that will ultimately cost people of St. Louis less money and also result in less issues that cause delays and just unfathomable amounts of problems for everyone else.
Schweitzer says the water division needs $700 million in repairs, and getting them every dollar they can helps. A man known to frequent Shaw Park Aquatic Center accused of molesting children there. Brendan Tucker arrested Monday, charged with 2 counts of second-degree child molestation. KSDK-TV reports it comes after 2 children at the park told a lifeguard that Tucker inappropriately touched them through their swimsuits. Clayton police believe there may be more victims and urge anyone with information to call the Clayton Police Department's Detective Bureau. 291 years. That's the sentence a St. Louis County judge handed down yesterday to a Baldwin man convicted of raping 7 women. 30-year-old Yahya Mali met his victims on a dating app, then assaulted them at his apartment near Vlasis Park. 2 of the women were in court to watch, one of them saying it felt like finally closing a chapter of a book she never chose to open.
It's hard for a victim to come forward, and these women came forward anyway. They used their voice, the power of their voice, to say this isn't okay. Something has to be done.
Prosecuting attorney Melissa Price-Smith says it's the longest sentence she's ever seen. Molly's attorney says he will appeal. Today, the St. Louis City Police Department will vote on whether to give command staff raises, potentially sparking a budget crisis for the city.
If enacted, these raises, some as high as 20%, would trigger matching raises for the St. Louis City Fire Department's command staff, forcing the city to redo their budget ahead of the July 1st deadline. Police spokesman Mitch McCoy says board president Chris Saraceno is steadfast with the difference in pay between sergeant and lieutenant barely above 1%.
We have sergeants that make $98,000 a year, $97,000 a year, and our lieutenants make $98,000.
At the last meeting, Mayor Kara Spencer received a 2-week delay to allow the city more time to calculate the raises' impact on their budget. A city spokesman says Chief of Staff Casey Milberg spoke over the phone with Commissioner Sonia Jenkins Gray on June 9th and said Budget Director Paul Payne had not finished his assessment at that time. Messages reviewed by KMOX show multiple attempts by Commissioner Jenkins Gray to schedule a meeting between the city and the board. Those text messages went unanswered by Milberg, with McCoy saying no meeting was had. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
And the vote on that raise comes today at 4. The public will also be allowed to comment after the vote. Still ahead on Total Information AM, I read an interesting article this week about Missouri Innovation Zones. That's a legislation that's been passed in Jefferson City and is awaiting the governor's signature that would allow developers to get some tax breaks for converting office buildings to apartments. It also has some other measures. And basically, I'm going to talk to someone who says the communities that prepare will win. So we'll see what that means for St. Louis. That's coming up after traffic and weather in 2 minutes here on KMOX.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account.
When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything.
Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
I'm John Morgan. There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Reason number 3. First, all lawyers are not the same. If my family had an injury case and I couldn't hire us, there are only about 3 to 4% of the lawyers out there that I would hire. And here's why. Most of them rarely, if ever, go to trial. They just take the last best offer. Hell, you can do that yourself. Do this. If you're looking for a lawyer, Google Morgan & Morgan results and see what comes up. It may shock you. Then Google the firm you're thinking of hiring and do the same. That may shock you as well. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. We won a lot. $30 billion and counting. Morgan & Morgan. For the people.com. Who would I hire? I'd hire us.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
8:10 now. Let's get a check of the roads with Frank Ladd. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Oh, Megan, crews are working quickly to clear a crash northbound on Highway 55 just before McNutt. The reports was it was two vehicles into the center median, but I'm watching drivers get out of the right lane now on the camera south of McNutt. So northbound on Highway 55, you're going to see a slow stretch approaching McNutt. North of there, you're going to see a great run headed up towards Highway 270. It looks like you could have an accident right at the end of the ramp from northbound 55 onto 270 northbound. North of there, a pretty good run passing Gravois. You're a little off the pace now between 44 and Manchester Road. A stop-and-go pocket there at Doherty Ferry. Completely thinned out eastbound on Highway 70. That earlier crash at Grand is long gone. So that's the good news. Thinning out as well westbound Highway 70 approaching the Highway 64 merge. Still pockets of volume westbound on 64 approaching the Highway 70 merge. Coming around the bend through that road construction approaching the Poplar Street Bridge. A little better as well eastbound on Highway 64 now between Lindbergh and Big Bend. Westbound 64 continues to thin out passing Forest Park. Our next traffic update at 8:20. Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Partly sunny today, becoming windy, hot, and humid with a high of 93. A couple of severe thunderstorms very late this afternoon and early tonight can produce hail, damaging wind gusts, flooding downpours, and even a tornado. Partly cloudy later tonight, though 69. For tomorrow, cooler and less humid with intervals of clouds and sun, along with a shower or thunderstorm in parts of the area, the high 79. For Friday, pleasant with sunshine and a few clouds, high 83. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We have a sunny morning, 71 in Florissant, 74 in St. Peter's, 72 downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. A newly approved measure is the next hope for urban renewal. KMOX has been following creation of Missouri Innovation Zones. A centerpiece of the legislation is an incentive plan for converting offices to residential spaces. It's awaiting the governor's signature, and then the Department of Economic Development will create a framework. John Berglund is a St. Louis developer and founder of River City Asset Advisories. He led the $75 million restoration of the Post building and has been an advocate for downtown North redevelopment. I asked him, what does the city of St. Louis need to do to cash in?
As far as what cities need to do, is they have to have a master plan that designates a boundary. And then it also needs to, there will be a scorecard in which the different cities that are the prospects will be judged upon, and whether it contributes to things like the historic preservation, but also revitalization of downtowns, jobs, those types of things. And all that will be in that master scorecard. Getting back to what you just asked me, what does the city need to do? The first thing they need to do is start to understand where the boundary will be, get consensus on that. My understanding is that this goes through the mayor's office, not through the Board of Aldermen, but of course the Board of Aldermen are going to have their say-so in drawing the boundary, and then identifying key properties that need this type of assistance to make go of it.
What are you hearing behind the scenes from maybe other developers about the city's level of readiness for this? I understand right now we still don't know, some of the parameters for this of what things will be judged on, but do you feel we're getting to that point?
So one of the things that the statute is very clear on is the turnaround time for permits, or just sort of the nuts and bolts of the program of how drawings are approved, and really the back end of it once things are going. And I think, candidly, the city does have some work as far as, besides drawing boundaries and figuring out what that is, this one-stop shop requirement in terms of all applications, incentives, so that these things can go through quickly. And I think the city does have some work to do in that area.
When we talk about the pot that's going to be available every year, if the governor signs this, $50 million in tax credits, realistically, how far could that go each year?
That's a really great question. So it is a 25% incentive. And, with all these incentives, whether they are an opportunity zone, a historic tax credit, or a brownfield, these are just part of the capital that enters the room. You still need a sponsor. Okay, the project, the ideal project is one that you have somebody who comes in, they want to do the project. They think that the market is there, but the project can't quite close. It doesn't quite work. And so the incentives allow the project to pencil out. So you can't take a project that that doesn't work, and all of a sudden, boom, it's a great project. It's really just kind of gets it to where it's, as we say, as it starts to pencil out. In terms of the 50 million, there are projects that are out there that could use a lot of that incentive even within the first year. But if you take, let's just say there's a $10 million project and it's a 25% eligible, well, that's $2.5 million. And so, and that's what the part of the purpose of the article that I wrote was, that the towns that are prepared or, understand the requirements. And even though there's a lot of work that the DED has to do, and even though the governor hasn't signed it, there's a lot of work that the city of St. Louis and some other towns can do to be ready for it. And so there is, to your point, the 50 million can get used up with, say, a large project like the AT&T could use a significant portion of that. But given that it's an annual program, the way the historic tax credits have worked, didn't go this year, you're in line kind of in the queue. And that's really the most important thing.
In some ways, does this give an advantage to maybe some smaller communities that would have less moving parts, I guess is the way I might ask it?
Yeah, I think there is a real advantage there for these small towns that may have a master plan. In the article I wrote, I used the example of Washington, Missouri. So they already have a master plan in general in ways to incentivize development. And their downtown is fairly coherent. And they have one particular building, it's called the Mersham Building, where they've been making corncob pipes, believe it or not, for 150 years, and they still do. But most of the building now is not occupied, and it's right on the river, and they've had other development downtown. And so this would be a perfect one where a developer may feel like, this, I'm not sure if this would pencil, there's a little bit of risk. Well, if you can get a historic tax credit, you can get this office to resi conversion. Well, that's enough to put you over the edge. But I don't see this as a transformative. You're going to do one building that's going to save your downtown. I think it's more the downtowns that are already together, and you've got that one problem property, and you're not quite sure what to do with it. In a lot of these small towns, there are dollars that are available. There's a small regional bank, and the community can get together and take a property that wouldn't work normally and get it to work. And so that was really the purpose of the article, to say that even though this hasn't been signed by the governor, there's a lot of work that can be done with how your permitting is done, what your master plan, what your boundary is going to be, which identifying different buildings, different developers that you want to work with. And you put all that together so that you're kind of first in line. To your point, that 50 million could get used up pretty quickly.
How do we get all the stakeholders to the table and make sure that we really tailor something that will be attractive?
Well, I guess you hit the nail on the head, isn't it? It's alignment of those political forces as well as the developers and getting everybody in the room. There was an article in the Wall Street Journal about Cleveland and how they are aligning a lot of their political forces. I commented on that. And it isn't just, we're going to make the zoning easier. It's providing the things that developers need so that, again, the one-stop shop. Something innovative Cleveland is doing is they're putting private residences on city-owned property in some of these disadvantaged areas. I don't know all the details of the program. I expect there's a rent-to-own type component of that. But I think there's some outside-the-box thinking that can help these things go together. And I think the communities that are more flexible in terms of being creative on how those solutions come in are the ones that will be there. I mean, it's not like this is a one and done program. I think it's going to be around for a while, but to the degree that you want to see development happen and help spur that, it really will be. And so how you create that alignment, I think a lot has to do with trust and bringing all the stakeholders in the room. There's a lot of complicated history, but it can be done with the right leadership.
One last question for you, and just to kind of bring this back for listeners as to the importance of this and what this could really mean for our urban corridors. If we could successfully do some of these conversions and we draw people in, how big of a difference would it make for our metro?
Really significant. I think you look no further than what happened with Washington Avenue and a little over 20 years ago. And I'm from St. Louis, and I remember when Washington Avenue, the old garment district, was nothing but a bunch of vacant buildings. And if you look at what happened over a decade, The historic tax credits were instrumental in that happening, and it ended up ultimately de-risking the project. And you had, I think at the end of the day, it was several $1 billion that got invested in there, as well as infrastructure for streets. And a lot of people, talk about 2008, and that's been a while, where the area with the Great Recession, it hasn't really recovered since then. But the bones are still there. And so if you look at these incentives, they really do make a difference. And if you can take a catalytic project like, say, the Railway Exchange building or the AT&T building or some of these really large ones, the incentives allow those projects to move forward. And I do believe that they can have a catalytic and change, and are wonderful tools that it's one of those classic public-private partnerships.
That's developer John Berglund, founder of River City Asset Advisors. You can read his take on Missouri Innovation Zones on his profile on LinkedIn. It's 8:21. Let's get the latest on the roads now. Frank Ladd sitting in for Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. How's it look out there, Frank?
Well, Megan, we've got a handful of incidents that have popped up here over the last 10 minutes or so. Working with a new crash eastbound Highway 64 at Chesterfield Parkway East, right at the end of the entrance ramp from Chesterfield Parkway East. That entrance ramp is now blocked, as is the two right lanes eastbound on Highway 64 at Chesterfield Parkway East. That has you backed up to about Topgolf. Westbound drivers, there's an accident as well blocking the left lane at Chesterfield Parkway East that has you backed up there as well. Another accident to pay attention to, westbound on Highway 270 past the Canal Bridge. That has you backed up to about Route 203. Looks like we're still seeing some volume into downtown St. Louis, though, due to the road, heavier volume due to the road construction westbound 5564 just before the Poplar Street Bridge. That has you backed up westbound on Highway 64 now from about 25th Street, westbound Highway 70. You've got delays there as well. Still dealing with this crash northbound on Highway 55 just before McNutt. That has you backed up to Highway A. This update is sponsored by Financial and Tax Strategies. Our USPS Ground Advantage reliable route this morning looks like Highway 44 eastbound. Haven't seen any delays so far this morning between 270 and downtown St. Louis. Our next traffic update at 8:30. Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If your retirement plan is mostly what if and a little fingers crossed, you deserve better answers than that. Check out Wealth and Wisdom Saturdays at 7 a.m. here on KMOX. I'm Gary Goldberg. Call 800-966-1690.
Still ahead on Total Information AM, WashU studying a vaccine that could cover a wide array of flu strains. KMOX Health Editor Fred Bottomer will have more. Check of the forecast now. Partly sunny, increasingly windy, hot and humid today with a high of 93. But be on the lookout. We could see some severe thunderstorms late this afternoon, early tonight. Partly cloudy overnight with a low of 69. Right now, sunny skies, 72 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Tom Ackerman here. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is there for you. Whatever your outdoor living needs are, patios, decks, sunrooms, screen rooms, pergolas, maybe just a new fence for the yard. Chesterfield Fence and Deck can do all that for you. Just go online to chesterfieldfence.com and you're going to find the very, very best. The best people, the best products, the best warranties, and a company that has been doing it in St. Louis since 1968. My suggestion would be to go to Chesterfield Valley and take a walk through the showroom. It's like an indoor neighborhood, especially on a warm day, nice air-conditioned look at all of the great materials, and good people to talk to about it. Chesterfield Fence and Deck. If you mention me, Tom Ackerman, you'll receive 20% off your next outdoor project. What a deal that is. As well as a free in-home consultation for all of you. Just go in and check out Chesterfield Fence and Deck. ChesterfieldFence.com. The sign you have, the very best.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to Supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At Supersure.com, you can access tools like Fine Print Facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to Supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's Supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
You're back with Total Information AM here on 104.1 FM KMOX. A new WashU medicine study takes a closer look at an investigational mRNA-based flu vaccine from Moderna that appears to protect against a wide array of influenza strains. KMOX health editor Fred Bodimer found out more about that when he spoke with one of the authors of the study, WashU medicine immunologist Dr. Hanover Matz.
We wanted to determine if an mRNA-based flu vaccine would offer any advantages over the regular seasonal flu vaccine that people typically get every year.
And what did you find?
We found that an mRNA-based vaccine stimulated a very strong immune response, and it generated antibodies that could block many different types of the flu virus. Every year, it's very difficult for flu vaccines to beat the flu virus because the virus changes a lot, and we always have to update the vaccines. But this mRNA-based vaccine seems to be very good at combating those changes in the virus.
Why is that?
We found that it could stimulate a higher diversity of antibodies, and so those were capable to bind different types of the virus, and then that resulted in better protection when that virus tries to make you sick, and then even potentially it can stop the virus from transmitting to other people if you have the flu.
Dr. Matz, how did you do this study?
We recruited people who received either the mRNA-based vaccine or the conventional inactivated flu vaccine, and then we measured their immune responses by taking different samples and looking at how their immune system was responding to the vaccine.
Did you have kind of like a unique way of looking at this?
Yes. One of the unique things that we can do is we use ultrasound-guided fine needle aspirations of the draining lymph nodes. So when you receive a vaccine, the components of the vaccine are going to go to your lymph nodes, and it's going to teach the immune system how to fight the virus. And so those are very unique samples that we can collect here at Washington University. And that allows us to track how the different antibodies made by your B cells change and how high affinity they get, how well they bind the different types of influenza viruses that you might encounter.
Were you surprised by these findings?
We were not surprised to see that the mRNA vaccine could stimulate a strong immune response. We knew that when we had done prior studies looking at mRNA-based vaccines to COVID-19, but we were surprised that the mRNA-based vaccine was able to generate immunity against so many different types of influenza virus. That's a real advantage compared to the regular flu vaccine.
How far back does this protection go?
We were able to measure antibody responses out to 6 months post-vaccination. Those antibody titers were still higher 6 months later in people that had received the mRNA-based vaccine. So we think that's a real benefit of this type of vaccine.
What are the implications of this study?
One of the implications is that potentially if this mRNA-based vaccine gets approved, when you give it to people, then you would have better odds of dealing with when the virus changes and it escapes the vaccine-mediated immunity. Another potential benefit of an mRNA-based vaccine is that some point in the future we may not have to administer vaccines yearly to combat the influenza virus, but that's something that will probably take several more years of research to figure out.
So where do things stand now with this mRNA flu vaccine?
Right now, Moderna has conducted the clinical trials to evaluate the safety and the effectiveness of the vaccine. They have submitted that data to the FDA for approval, and the FDA is currently evaluating the vaccine, and they should make a decision on that sometime by August of this year. Moderna is specifically looking to get approval for the vaccine in older individuals because that's a population that we are usually concerned about offering protection for against seasonal influenza viruses.
That's Dr. Hanover Matz, an immunologist with WashU Medicine, speaking with KMOX health editor Fred Bodimer. It's now 8:29. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
As dads, it's our job to capture as many memories with our kids as possible. It's also our job to embarrass them, and if we're lucky, we get to do both. That's why I'm thankful my son created Legacy Box, the world's largest digitizer of home movies and photos.
And I'll never recover from the time you showed up to my middle school dance to disco in front of everyone. Thanks, Dad. But he's right. Simply fill your Legacy Box with your old VHS, camcorder tapes, film reels, and photos, and we'll do the rest.
And in just a couple of weeks, you'll get your originals back, along with a DVD, thumb drive, or cloud delivery. Stuff that even an old man like me can figure out.
Plus, for a limited time, we're offering a special Father's Day sale.
Go to legacybox.com/radio
to get an incredible deal.
Buy today to take advantage of this limited offer. Go to legacybox.com/radio
to get started and save.
legacybox.com/radio.
It's Tom Ackerman. There's nothing like celebrating at the Beer Garden at Anheuser-Busch, and take a tour of the brewery while you're at it. But I've got a great suggestion for a watch party to watch Team USA in the FIFA World Cup. All the great deals on Mick Ultra with collectible FIFA cups while supplies last at the Anheuser-Busch Beer Garden. That Budweiser Tours experience at BudweiserTours.com is the way to go. Gather with your friends and enjoy cold beer, fellowship, and watching some soccer. The FIFA World Cup at the Beer Garden at Anheuser-Busch. What an ultimate venue. We had a great roundtable there last month with some Cardinals alumni. We couldn't have had a better time with a capacity crowd. There's lots of room to relax and enjoy a good watch party at the Beer Garden. Visit BudweiserTours.com. 2 o'clock is the next game on Friday. BudweiserTours.com.
When pain starts to slow you down, BJC Healthcare and WashU Medicine orthopedic specialists are here to help. Nationally recognized leaders in orthopedics deliver care that's informed by research and personalized for you. From everyday aches to complex injuries and recovery, we're here to help you get back to doing what you love. Find an orthopedic specialist today. Visit bjc.org/orthopedics or call 314-362-9355.
Well, it looks like we've still got plenty of delays out there on the roads. Let's get an update from Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Still seeing delays into North County westbound on Highway 270 due to an earlier crash near the Canal Bridge. That has you backed up to Illinois 203. Still dealing with delays eastbound on Highway 64 due to a crash at Chesterfield Parkway East. The right 2 lanes remain blocked there, so it means that only the left lane is getting by. So you're heavy back into the valley. Westbound drivers are slowing as well. They've got a crash right at that same scene blocking the left lane. A new crash just called out westbound Highway 70, the Blanchette Bridge, reporting some lane blockage there. A center lane blocked with a crash involving 3 vehicles. A crash northbound on Highway 55 at the end of the ramp to northbound Highway 270. The good news is they cleared the crash northbound Highway 55 at McNutt. Our next traffic update at 8:40. Frank Ladd in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Honey, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Oh, you are, but this one's certified, background check, shows up on time, and can install all the ceiling fans.
Heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. Trusted pros who do it right.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, partly sunny, increasingly windy, hot, and humid today with a high of 93. Now, late this afternoon and early this evening, we could see some severe thunderstorms that could cause some flash flooding and have hail-damaging winds, possibly even spawn a tornado. So stay with KMOX for the latest there. Once we get through that patch, partly cloudy overnight, a low of 69. Right now, we have sunny skies, 72 degrees downtown at the Arch. Split results for candidates backed by President Trump. Here's ABC's Dave Packer.
Primary elections in several states. In Georgia, Rick Jackson won the Republican nomination for governor over the Trump-endorsed Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones. Jackson thanking supporters.
This campaign was never about me. It was always been about the people of Georgia, especially those who feel unheard by the powerful.
Jackson will face off against former Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms in November. But it was a good night for other Trump-endorsed candidates. Republican Representative Mike Collins defeating Derek Dooley to secure the Republican Senate nomination in Georgia.
Y'all know I am so proud to be standing here as your Republican nominee for the United States Senate.
Collins will now advance to face Democratic incumbent Senator Jon Ossoff. To Oklahoma, where Trump-endorsed Congressman Kevin Hern easily won the GOP nomination for U.S. Senate. There is favored to win in November. Democrats haven't won a Senate race in Oklahoma since 1990. Dave Packer, ABC News.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Don't let garage door problems bench your summer plans. From repairs, tune-ups, and replacements, Renner Garage Door hits a grand slam every time. Score a free repair or replacement quote today, plus $100 off a new garage door. Featuring trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, Renner delivers the quality, reliability, and performance your home can count on. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Your Money Report now, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
Amazon is said to be facing a possible lawsuit from the Federal Trade Commission that may lead to billions of dollars in civil penalties over claims the e-commerce giant misled advertisers. The investigation focusing in part on whether Amazon properly disclosed the terms and pricing relating to its ads. Multiple state attorneys general are also involved. No comment from Amazon. And it took Elon Musk 54 years to make his first $1 trillion. And in just a few days, he's already nearly a third of the way to his next trillion. According to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index, Musk's fortune has risen to $1.3 trillion as of yesterday. This report is sponsored by Vanguard Investor Choice, a proxy voting program for eligible Vanguard Index funds. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Tom Ackerman here. You know I've been talking about McKelvey Homes for a while. McKelvey Homes, Missouri's oldest home builder, going back to 1898. They're the ones who've been doing it a long, long time. And they're breaking ground on something new in O'Fallon called Strawberry Farms. First foundations are in, display home opening soon, walking trails, a lake, a berry patch honoring the land's history as strawberry fields. That's why it's called Strawberry Farms. A private playground, Fort Zumwalt schools, a fresh start in a great location. Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon, Missouri. Look, I've worked with Jim Brennan, the president of McKelvey Homes, long enough to know when Jim and McKelvey decide to build something, they do it right. Visit McKelveyhomes.com to learn more. It's a great website, easy to navigate. McKelveyhomes.com to schedule a tour. Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon. Move up to McKelvey.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Is your financial advisor working more for your retirement or for his?
Find out the real story behind the financial industry with Greg Ayler, Saturdays at 1 on Fire, Your Financial Advisor.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. Iran would have to take immediate steps to reopen the Strait of Hormuz once a deal to end the war with the U.S. is signed. That's according to leaked copies of the interim agreement obtained by the Associated Press. A new AP NORC poll has found most Americans believe civil liberties like the right to vote are under threat. And over the last month, Obsession has sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Curry Barker's micro-budget horror film has grossed $286 million worldwide. Well, hopefully it's not a horror show out there on the roads, but I know there are some big delays. Frank Ladd is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Oh, we're still seeing delays coming up from the valley. That's eastbound on Highway 64, starting at about Boone's Crossing now, up to this accident at Chesterfield Parkway East. Only the left lane is squeezing by. It's right at the end of the entrance ramp from Chesterfield Parkway East, and they've got that partially blocked as well. Westbound 64 drivers slowing, approaching that similar scene, that same scene. It's right across the median, and there's a crash blocking the left lane there, so you've got delays approaching that scene. Still delays into North County, westbound on Highway 270 now back towards 203, up to an earlier crash near the Canal Bridge. And we've got an accident, looks like reported eastbound on Highway 364 at Jungerman Road out in St. Charles County. A little bit of a backup there approaching the merge with Highway 94 on eastbound Highway 364. I'm Frank Ladd with traffic from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sandberg Phoenix serves your business in litigation, intellectual property, and products liability. We're more than a law firm. We're committed to your success. Learn more at sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
We could see some severe thunderstorms late this afternoon. Otherwise, partly sunny, windy, hot, and humid today. A high of 93. Right now, sunny skies, 72 downtown at the Arch. You're listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Missouri's Attorney General has been going after companies that sell the substance kratom. The leaves of the kratom tree are used as a supplement, and at high doses, it can have the same effects as an opioid. Merchants have argued it's not regulated by the federal or state government, so it's fair game to sell to consumers. Let's bring in KMOX legal analyst Brad Young, partner at Harris, Young & Kaiser for our weekly visit. Good morning, Brad.
Good morning, Megan.
So Attorney General Catherine Hanaway has reached some settlements with distributors to stop sales of this concentrated kratom. I'm wondering if her action against these companies is within the scope of her duties, the scope of the law, considering that the state has no ban on these substances.
Well, that's what's interesting about this, Megan, is that Attorney General Catherine Hanaway kind of acted when the legislature so far has failed to act. Many legislatures across the country are trying to enact laws against this. It's a concentrated form of kratom called hydroxymetragenine. And it's actually, the FDA warns it's more potent than morphine. But because these drugs can be invented and sold faster than what governments can ban them, it becomes very difficult. It's kind of like whack-a-mole with all of these different drugs that come onto the market. So what Attorney General Catherine Hanaway has done here is that she used public nuisance and public protection laws to negotiate a settlement, whereas these companies that are selling them, there's about 4 of them out of the Kansas City area, they've agreed to not sell their products in Missouri in exchange for not being prosecuted under the law. So in a very short period of time, most of this potent kratom will be out of grocery stores and gas stations primarily.
I'm wondering, when you talk about the speed of how this is being developed and can be changed, will this become a new tactic to deal with things that it's just the legislative process is too slow to deal with?
I think this is actually an arrow in the quiver that will be used more and more often, because this type of action, Megan, doesn't require legislative action. It allows the AG to use laws that are already on the books regarding consumer protection laws and use that to negotiate settlements faster than what the legislature can move in order to enact protections legislatively.
All right. A Wentzville judge in hot water, a judicial panel asking he be removed from the bench. What are we learning this morning about Mike Carter?
He's a Wentzville municipal judge. He's also prolific on social media. He also does a couple of programs on radio and television. And this is the same judicial panel that removed another judge recently for dressing up like Elvis in the courtroom and also politicking in the courtroom. The judicial panel says that with regard to Judge Michael Carter, that he's been stating things on social media and on his television program against defendants, against women, against other groups. And this is not really a First Amendment issue. It's not that he's being prosecuted for what he's been saying, but the question becomes, does the judicial panel have the right to remove someone from a judge's position for conduct unbecoming of a judge? And that's what will be decided in this case.
Are there clear guidelines, ethical guidelines for judges and other members of the bar?
Well, there are specific guidelines, but the question becomes whether they're clear, because a lot of it is subjective. Whenever the judges, like, for example, there's no specific guideline that says you cannot dress like Elvis in a courtroom. However, there is a procedure within those guidelines that say you have to act like a judge. You have to have the comportment of a judge. And in this instance, with regard to Michael Carter, that question will be whether prolific posting on social media and television against defendants, against women, against other groups, whether that fits within the guidelines of the judicial discipline panel.
Okay, finally, let's look at a case involving Anheuser-Busch employees. A judge has ruled against them in a case that, in a way, dates back to the pandemic. What's happening in this case out of Virginia?
Well, what happened is that there was an attempt to get class action status for Anheuser-Busch employees in Virginia. And a lot of this centered around, for example, that employees were alleging they weren't paid for pre-shift work or post-shift tasks or COVID-era screening and extra sanitation steps. And so they attempted to get a class action lawsuit. And the Fourth Circuit threw that out. And this is a really good primer on class action lawsuits, because the court ruled that each of these plaintiffs were different. You know, one had complaints about pre-shift, one had complaints about post-shift tasks. And if you're going to be in a class action, everyone has to have the exact same types of damages. So it's not that these employees cannot proceed with litigation, they just cannot do it as a class action lawsuit.
How much harder does that make it for them to, take action legally?
That's a great question, Megan. And it does make it more difficult because individually their claims may not amount to much money, and it may become difficult to find representation. Collectively, the damages become larger, and it makes it more efficient for attorneys to file suits. So this could actually make it very, very difficult for these plaintiffs to obtain representation.
That's KMOX legal analyst Brad Young, partner at Harris Young and Kaiser. Brad, always good to talk to you on Wednesday morning.
My pleasure, Megan.
Coming up next on Total Information AM, Visa and ChatGPT are partnering to let AI agents shop and pay for what you want to buy. We're going to talk about it next, the pros and cons coming up.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com. Come out to Hot Shots on Limburg this Friday between 12 and 2 p.m. to celebrate 150 years of Budweiser. Don't miss out on a fresh day of brewed Budweiser and a chance to win great prizes while mingling with KMOX sports talent and sports manager Tom Ackerman. And while you're there, don't miss the chance to stay and watch the U.S. versus Australia game on the big screens while enjoying a Budweiser. All happening Friday at Hot Shots on Limburg. For more information, go to KMOX.com/events.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. Let me put this in simple terms. You can't put your estate planning documents in a drawer and forget about them. That doesn't help your family when it matters most. My family has trusted the Lederman Law Firm here in St. Louis with our estate planning for over 20 years. And what sets them apart is they don't treat estate planning like a one-and-done thing. They treat it like what it really is, a living, breathing plan. They build your plan to protect your family, your assets, and your wishes. And then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it updated as your life changes, because it will. Families need change, assets change, the law changes. And because of this, many people don't realize how many plans out there are still outdated until it's too late. The Laterman Law Firm, an annual process they offer to help keep our plan up to date with changes over time, and they can do the same for you. 314-514-9100, LatermanLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX. Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
You're listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Visa is embedding its payment network into ChatGPT. That will allow the chatbot to shop and complete transactions for users on its own. What are the pros and cons for shoppers? I reached out to Rashid Webby, founder and CEO of Sell the Trend, an AI-based e-commerce system that helps merchants find products and understand the latest trends.
The benefits is speed. Automation. It is the ability to set it and forget it. That's the whole point of really AI, is to make things better for the humans, right? I mean, that's the goal, and that's the vision, right? So there are a lot of benefits when it comes to alleviating ourselves from doing the manual stuff. But obviously, there's also a lot of hazards to allowing essentially a robot and also a corporation to control the spending on your credit card, right? So there's definitely some caveats there.
I can see where there would be benefits. For example, maybe you wouldn't have to spend your time scanning for the best sale on something. The
100%.
agentic AI would do that for you and save you some money that way. But what are some of the potential pitfalls of using this type of technology?
Absolutely. So think of it this way: what is the number one purpose of a lot of corporations? It is to generate more revenue for them and their shareholders. So if that's their goal, they are not going to be looking at your best interest to a certain extent, right? I mean, unless it aligns perfectly, they are going to be looking at their best interest. So are they going to be really finding the best deals, or are they finding the best deals that their partners offer, for example? So there's a lot of who is the driver here? And the driver is the corporation. The consumer is still a passenger to a certain extent because we are using their tools. So definitely some of the risks are, besides the technical risks where, hey, it can make a mistake. I mean, and it can, blow out your credit card. I mean, besides that mistake, right? But there's also the what I mentioned earlier, which is who is really the benefiting out of these transactions.
Is this one of those things where you really have to read the fine print to know exactly what your rights as a consumer are?
100%. But here is the challenge with that, Megan, is that even though that is the good things to do, the reality is a lot of people are not going to be reading the fine print, right? I mean, I love Facebook as much as the next person to a certain extent, but I mean, we saw what happened with Facebook and rights protections and the access they have, the customer information and all that kind of stuff. So it is very important to balance that between what the fine print says and also what the hope is and what the purpose of the application is. So we can give the user as much power, but they have to use it.
Should we be worried about our private information, our data being used?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think there is already some protections offered by governments, but anytime you give a corporation and you give, or even a software, access to that information, there's always a risk, right? There's always a risk of, even if it's unintentional risks, by having things like breaches of security and all that kind of stuff. So even though the risk might not be malicious by the company that has that information, there's always an inherent risk with any kind of technology, as we know from just online purchases.
Are there any other questions you think consumers should be asking before they might try something like this?
Yeah, I think besides reading the fine print, I think the most important part is you need to really know, you need to be informed about what the power and what the limitations and what the potential risks of doing any of these kind of bleeding edge type of implementations, right? As soon as you say something like, oh, this AI agent, right, which, you know, a lot of people don't even know what that means, is going to have access to my credit card and make purchases on my behalf. So, you know, one of the best things that I think would offer protection, and I think this is very good and very easy for both implementation side, but also very easy from explaining this to the consumer, is there's got to be spending limits. There's got to be guardrails. And as long as those guardrails are well defined and well presented to the consumer, I think there is a very good there's a very good use case for actually allowing this to happen, right? If there is a guardrail saying, hey, you're only allowed to spend $1,000 total a month or $250 a month or whatever limit on all of my purchases. It doesn't matter if I tell you to go and buy a car, you know, with my credit card, you're only allowed to spend $250 a day or $100 a day or whatever the case may be. As long as there's some of those guardrails are available, I think this technology could be very exciting.
That is Rashid Webby of Sell the Trend. Visa says it does plan to implement safeguards like spending limits. MasterCard says it is also developing AI shopping features. Stay with us next hour here on KMOX. It's Chris and Amy Day at the ballpark. They are broadcasting from Busch Stadium for today's show. And then they're going to be guest bartending at the Mississippi Yacht Club pop-up bar at Gate 1 at 12:30 today. So make sure you head out to Busch Stadium. Make sure you listen to them next hour for all the fun.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Ethos.